हट। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायण नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। हरिः ओम श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। So, yeah, wish you all a happy Varaha Dvadashi. Today is the auspicious appearance of Shri Varaha Dev, and yesterday it was very nice that we have gathered together and spent some time to know the glories of hearing to the appearance and the divine activities of the Lord. What benefits what we get is we get freedom from this cycle of birth and death, which means freedom from suffering, freedom from distress, freedom from lamentation, and all kind of things. Not only that, but if we um, one second. If we actually advance in this same line, then we are able to become an eternal servant of the Lord, hmm, in the spiritual world or wherever the Lord suits us in His service. Yesterday we covered the Lord when He incarnated to bring Mother Earth, planet Earth from the lower planets, and in the form of Shweta Varaha, Yajna Varaha Dev. And then we went that was one description that we find in Bhagavatam. The second description is about Neela Varaha. And this is what Vidura was asking. Okay, by the way, you said that in the second canto, Lord has killed Hiranyaksha, deadly demon. So, can you also tell about that? Yesterday, we started with one of the reasons why the Lord has mm, to come. Yeah, this is one reason was that Diti, wife of Kashyapa Muni, she desired to unite with him, and which in fact is a rightful, lawful desire, because the duty of a wife is to beget kid, not ordinary but spiritual beings who are given a chance to advance so that they can go back to the eternal abode and engage in the eternal service of their lordship. Um, so the desire itself was not bad, but the time was not good. The time was Uttara Sandhya time, and Kashyapa Muni said, "Please, I'm happy to serve you, but I'm happy to please you. But the thing is, it's not the right time. This is the time where um, sleeping, eating, mating, these kind of activities are not to be done. Why? Because this is very auspicious for divine activities, Daiva Krityas. So, which means performing evening Sandhya Arati. That's why we say Sandhya Arati, uh, which means an Arati is performed during that time, which brings all auspiciousness in one's life. We say also Trisandhyam. All the three in the Sandhyas are very auspicious. There is morning, afternoon, and evening. And so one should help oneself to overcome these things and engage in service of the Lord. But sometimes when the urges are burning, then we lose our sense of it's called vichakshana, to know what is right, what is wrong, and to stand for what is right, what is wrong. We somehow think, okay, let's first finish, mm, let's first satisfy the urge. And in that way, Diti has mm, impressed her desire, and due to which Kashyapa Muni and Diti, they united, and then Kashyapa Muni, he took bath, and then he was in meditation, and Diti came and she understood what she has done. She asked, may the Lord, may the Lord, Lord Shiva be merciful, um, and that he doesn't harm my embryo, which means and she wanted protection. She was lamenting for what she did. She was repenting for what has happened. She want to do something that actually what she should do, so that things can be corrected. And she had unflinching faith for the Lord, unflinching faith and devotion to Lord Vishnu, and also great awe and reverence to Lord Shiva and other devatas. So with all that, Kashyapa Muni said, okay, um, yeah, your sons will be a terror. Mm, uh, and but of course they will be subdued by the hands of the Supreme Lord. And not only that, your grandson will be a great devotee. Yeah. So yesterday we closed, I think, there. And today we have a lot to cover, because I mentioned that there are a few other reasons why Neela Varaha appeared. And is everyone ready for us to start there? Oh, I hope it was not too late yesterday and you had a proper refreshing rest, and quite interested, excited about what happens now. We go through the Srimad Bhagavatam, and that we see that Maitreya Rishi is narrating all this to Vidura. He's just telling what has happened, and Diti, the wife of sage Kashyapa, could understand the sons within her womb would be cause of disturbance to the demigods. Mm. She know this what has happened because the time was not right, and the sons are also, I mean, as Kashyapa Muni predicted, it will happen. So she, out of, I mean, she is a mother. She is not just a mother, selfish mother who is just thinking about the welfare of her own children. She was a kind-hearted mother who is well established in religious principles. So uh, she was concerned what will happen to her co-sister's sons, co-sister Atidi, who is the mother of Devatas. So she is very concerned, and what she did is she continuously bore the power of semen of Kashyapa Muni, which was meant to give troubles to others for 100 years. For 100 years, yeah, she didn't. She tried her best that she doesn't want to bring her kids on to the planet, because what Kashyapa Muni said, it's quite, yeah, disastrous that is going to happen. So, therefore, Diti was reluctant to give birth to her babies. She waited for 100 years so that at least she could save the demigods from the disturbance of that period. For that period, she tried her best. And then, after that, what happened is that by the force of this pregnancy of Diti, when she had, the sun and light were impaired in all planets. So the light is gone. Yeah, just everything became dark, very dark. And then the devatas, they approached Lord Brahma. Yeah, why? Because uh, Lord Brahma is the creator, so he might know what has happened, and he may also find a solution. Yeah, they went and asked, what is this expansion of darkness in all direction? Hmm. Yeah, Lord Brahma being the supreme intelligent being, so he would definitely know what has went wrong, and they could take shelter of what to do. And so the devatas all they went, and they said, Just see this darkness which you know very well, and which is causing us anxieties." Why it's causing anxiety is because the influence of time cannot touch you. There is nothing unmanifest to you, so you will be able to tell. They say, Deva Deva Jagat Dhatar, Lokanatha Shikhamani, Paresham Aparesham Tvam Bhutanam Asi Bhava Vit. It says, Oh God of demigods, they are addressing Brahmadev. You are the sustainer of the universe. Your head jewel, Shiromani, the jewel or in other planets. You know the intentions of all living beings in both spiritual and material world. Uh, so here and then, Namo Vijnana Viryaya Maya Yedam Upeyushe Grihita Guna Bedaya Namaste Vyakta Yonaye. He says, yeah, you're not ordinary. You're very special. Why? Because oh, you are the original source of strength and scientific knowledge, Vijnana Viryaya. And you have accepted differentiated modes of passion from the Supreme Lord, with help of which you have created everything, which is you are so you are born of unmanifested source, not like a Midhuna Janma. He didn't take. It's not that the men and women came together and he was born. He was born from the lotus that sprout from the navel of the Lord. Uh, and in that way, they say all these planets exist within you yourself. Therefore, you are the cause of this universe, and anyone who meditates upon you without deviation attains devotional service. Tesham supakva yoganam jita swasendriyatmanam labdva yusman prasadanam na kutaschit kutaschit parabhava. He says there is no debate in this material world for persons who control the mind and senses by controlling breathing process. This is because by such process, perfection in yoga, you attained your mercy. Yeah? Yeah? That you have attained that mercy. So it is a living example. So if we follow you, then we will attain success. So anyway, in this way, they approached Lord Brahma and they appreciated the greatness of Brahma, and also they have maybe praised him more so that he can show special mercy on them. Satvam vidatsva sam bhumams tamasa lupta karmanam adharba dayaya drishtya apannam arhashit kshitum. He says, please look upon us mercifully, for we have fallen into miserable condition because of the darkness. All our work has been suspended. This is our problem. Huh? One may ask, what is the problem? If everything is in darkness, what is the problem? What is it that the um, the devatas were not able to enjoy their life? No. Uh, because of complete darkness throughout the universe, what will happen? The regular activities and engagements of all different planets were suspended. Um, we have here Kritika Mataji and Divagar Prabhu. They went to the northern pole, in the purport Prabhupada is mentioning. In the north and south poles of this planet, there are sometimes no divisions of day and night. We could see, I think it's in Norway. You have a 6 months of day and 6 months of night, if I'm not wrong. So similarly, when sunlight doesn't approach the different planets within the universe, there is no distinction between day and night. And when there is no distinction between day and night, just we see what happens in Kali Yuga, what Diti is so much concerned that has happened in that time, Satya Yuga that time, is happening every day, in Kali Yuga. What is that? Maithunam, enjoyment, sense enjoyment doesn't matter whether it is day or night. Yeah, when I was here in Germany 2002, yeah, it was very hard to walk in public, because we don't know all of a sudden a boy and girl are attracted and they kiss in the street, doesn't matter where they are. Yeah, so we are living in these times. Hmm. But in the Devatas, they were saying, as fuel overloads a fire, so the embryo created by the semen of Kashyapa in womb of Diti has caused complete darkness throughout the universe. This is what the Devatas are saying. The darkness throughout the universe is explained herein as being caused by the embryo created in the womb of Diti by the semen of Kashyapa, Kashyapa Muni. And uh, then after this, so Lord Brahma, who is understood by transcendental vibration, tried to satisfy the demigods. He said, Manasa me suta yushmat purvaja sanakadaya cheyur vihayasa lokan. Lokesh Vigata Spruha. He started saying, hey, what is the reason for all this? Is that once upon a time there was this four sons who are Sanaka, Sanadana, Sananda, Sanat Kumar who were born from my mind. Sometimes they travel throughout the material and spiritual skies without any definite desire. So when they were in this expedition that they were just going, of course they were not in a great adventure that they want to make, but rather they are not interested to be in one place. They wanted to just go in on different planets wherever they can preach, they can and they can practice themselves samadhi. So in that way. So in the purport we say when we speak of desire, we refer to desire for material sense gratification here. But saintly persons like Sanaka, Sanatana, Chaturkumaras have no material desire. So they are not traveling in the spiritual skies because of something, hmm, but out of their own accord to preach devotional service. This is very clear. This is what we need to understand, and from there we can appreciate what is has happened in this small pastime. त एकदा भगवतो वैकुण्ठस्यामलात्मनः ययुर्वैकुण्ठ निलयं सर्वलोक namaskritam. Then Lord Brahma explains the glories of Vaikuntha. They say, after thus traveling all over the universes, they also entered into the spiritual sky, for they were freed from all material contamination. Yes, they could come. In the spiritual sky, there are spiritual planets known as Vaikunthas, where which are residents of the Supreme Lord Vishnu and his pure devotees and are worshipped by the residents of the material planets. So, Vaikuntha planet is not just worshipped by the denizens of Vaikuntha or only devotees, but also material. So, when we become a devotee, when we become a Vaishnava, what are we doing is we are also appreciating not the glories of the Lord, but also the glories of the Dhama, the place, the abode where the Lord resides. So, so in this way, there is Brahmadev is saying, yeah, remember this important point because from here, Maitreya is narrating to Vidura what Brahma is telling to Devatas. Hmm? Hmm. Vasanti yat purusha sarva vaikunta murtaya ye nimitta nimittena dharma dharmenardhayan harim. He says in Vaikunta planets, all the residents are similar in the form of the Supreme Lord. So that's why you may see if you go to any Vaishnava temple where you see there is also the Dwarpalak who are at the entrance of the temple. They also have four hands. They also look almost similar. And this is where we see in Bhagavatam it is affirmed that they all engage in devotional service to the Lord without desire for sense gratification. And what is the form described? Yatra chadyam puman aste bhagavan shabda gochara sattvam vistabhya virajam swanam no mridayan vrishaha. It says in the Vaikuntha planet, uh, the Lord who is the original person and who can be understood through Vedic literature. He is full of uncontaminated mode of goodness with no place for passion or ignorance. He contributes religious progress for the devotees. So Lord, what is he doing is, yeah, he doesn't has a duty, he doesn't has a special work assigned on him, but he likes to always see the religious progress for the devotees, so that he is always looking what is best that welfare that can be done to the devotees. This is what he does. So, the Lord and his devotees reside in Vaikuntha and they are of the same transcendental qualities. So, not only the Lord, even the devotees who are there also are having the quality called Vasudeva Tattva or Suddha Sattva, that they are above this mode of goodness. And Vaikuntha planets are very dear to Vaishnavas, and for the progressive march of Vaishnava toward the kingdom, the Lord Himself helps His devotees. It is amazing, isn't it? When we want to go to a temple, we cannot go. It is the Lord who blesses, and it is the Lord who gives this uh, grant. Only then the devotees can progress, and the Lord is ever eager to give this if we aspire for it. And Vaimanika, Lala, I mean, this is further description about how is the Vaikunta. Vaikunta planet is inhabitant, they are flight, airplanes accompanied by their wives and consorts and all. And there is, they deride even the presence of blossoming Madhavi flower, uh, which are fragrant and ladled with honey. There, all the devotees are only interested in doing what? Though they have wives, they have husbands, though they are partners, yeah, but they are all together interested in offering pleasure to the Supreme Lord, giving all kinds of services that Lord Lord enjoys. It is said, um, yeah, the glories of Vaikunta and the atmosphere of Vaikunta is so special. Paravatya Bhrata Sarasa Chakravaka Datyuhu Hamsa Sukha Tittiri Brahinam Yaha Kolahalo Viramate Chira Matra Uchchair Bhrangadipe Harikatham Iva Gaya Mane. This is so nice to just think about how great uh, the atmosphere in Vaikunta is. It is said that, first of all, Vaikunth is so beautiful, where there is this birds like pigeons are lulling, cuckoos, crane, chakravaka, swan, parrots, partridge, and peacock. All these birds, they are so. All these are not ordinary birds. There are also transcendent, such spiritual birds. But when they are so much making all kinds of um, sounds, yeah, or what happens is, as soon as when the king of bees hums in a high pitch, then every bird is becoming silent. Every bird is becoming silent. Why? To just hear this humming of this bumblebee, the king of bees. Why? Because in high pitch, what is doing is singing the glories of the Lord. Such transcendental birds stop their own singing simply to hear the glories of the Lord. So, in the purport, Prabhupada is mentioning that this verse shows the absolute nature of Vaikuntha. It is not that the spiritual world is a monotonous or it's just impersonal. No, we see that there are birds. We know the birds have form. Definitely, the birds in spiritual world also will have a form. There is no difference between the birds there and the human residents. It is also said that the humans and the birds in the Vaikunta there is no difference. But the situation in spiritual sky is that everything is spiritual and variegated. When we are saying there is no difference between human and bird, but the service that they offer are different. That is what the variegatedness brings. The situation in the spiritual sky is that means that everything is animate, which means it's not just like a light that is always same. No, yeah, there's so much happening in the Vaikuntha planet. Mandara Kunda, Kurabotpala, Champakarna, Punnaga Naga, Bakulambuja, Parijata, Ganderchita, Tulasi, Kabha, Ranena, Tasya, Yasmin, Tapo, Sumano, so Bahu Manayanti. This is another excellent verse. How devotion is considered the top, and that too, if we say in Vaikunta, everyone is serving, every being is serving the Lord, but they don't feel jealous of it, they don't feel competing. What they do is they actually appreciate the topmost, what the Lord appreciates, and that becomes their. Here it is said, although flowering plants like Mandara, Kunda, Kurabaka, Utpala, Champaka, Arna, Punnaga, Nagakeshara, Bakula, Leela, Parijata are full of transcendental fragrance. They are still conscious of the austerities performed by Tulasi. What is it said here? Gandherchita Tulasi Kabharanena Tasya. So what happened is, once the Gandha, the fragrance of Tulasi, hmm, for Tulasi is given special preference by the Lord, who garlands himself with Tulsi leaves. So as soon as this, when this fragrance is there, they don't over dominate the fragrance of Tulsi. Why? Because they see that Lord appreciates Tulsi. In fact, Lord wears a garland, Vanamali. So So the importance of tulsi is very clearly mentioned here. Tulsi plant, yeah, that's why we see that it's not just that we want to. So many people may give so many scientific things. Yeah, if we have a plant at home, then the carbon dioxide is all this. No, we are talking about the spiritual asset of tulsi. Every home should maintain a standard of goodness at home, and also should have a tulsi plant. Why? Tulsi plant and their leaves are very important in devotional service. In fact, the Lord doesn't accept any offering without tulsi leaf. So devotees are recommended to water the tulsi tree every day and collect the leaves to worship the Lord. I mean, Prabhupada writes in the purport, one time an atheistic Swami remarked, this is, I think you may guess who is it. But what is the use of watering tulsi plant? It is better to water eggplant, he said. By watering the eggplant, one can get some fruits, but what is the use of watering tulsi? So it is not understanding the real depth of the value of Tulsi, one may talk, but Tulsi is different. The most important thing about the spiritual world is that there is no envy among all the devotees. Here we are talking about flower plants are also devotees, fruit bearing trees are also devotees, birds are devotees, all are devotees and they are not envy of each other. Huh? So that's why appreciating the greatness of Tulsi. So in fact, we will know how great is Tulsi. We will come very shortly. This is true even in Vaikuntha world, entered by four Kumaras, even the birds and flowers are conscious of service to the Lord. यश यशंकुलम हरि पदानति मात्र दृष्टेर वैदूर्य मारकट हेम मयर विमानय. These airplanes are made of these things, yeah, not just like some metal. Yeah, no, but these are very, very special. Esham brihat kati tatha smita shobhi mukha Krishnatmanam na raja adadur uh, Utsramayadhyai. It says the inhabitants of Vaikunta travel in airplanes made of lapis lazuli. If we want, no, we know lapis lazuli, even just a stone itself is so expensive. And if one even want to make a car, nowadays we don't even see a car which is made of gold. But this lapis lazuli is so expensive that, yeah, one can't even. But in the Vaikunta, there are planes made of these. Although crowded by their consorts who have large beauty, they cannot be stimulated to passion by their myth and beautiful charms. Uh, so that is the beauty of Vaikuntha, that one is focused only in devotional service rather than any other distractions. And there goes now about Lakshmi Devi. It says, Sri Rupini Kvanayati Charanarabindam Leelambujena Hari Sadmani Mukta Dosha Samlakshayate Spatika Kudya Upeta Hemni Samarja Samarjativa Yad Anugrahena Anya Yatnaha. It says the ladies in Vaikuntha planet are as beautiful as goddess of fortune herself. So in terms of beauty, everyone is so beautiful. Such transcendental, beautiful ladies, their hands playing with lotuses and their legs bangled, tinkling, and sometimes seen sweeping the marble walls, which are bedecked at intervals, with golden borders, in order to receive the grace of the Lord. Though they are so beautiful, yeah, if we have little beauty, we think that we have conquered the world. Though the denizens, the residents of Vaikunta, who are so beautiful as Goddess Lakshmi, hmm, they are fully focused in only one thing, to make everything very, very clean and clear so that it is all pleasing to the Lord that they are serving. Hmm. So, in fact, yeah, we come to that a little later. And then there is this goddess of fortune. We see that Vapishu Vidruma Tatasva Amalamritapsu प्रेष्यान्वित निजवने तुलसीभिर ईशम अभ्यरचित स्वलोक उन्मसम ईक्ष्य वक्रतम उच्चेसितम भगवती अमतांग यत श्रीहि. He says goddess of fortune worship the Lord in their own gardens by offering tulsi leaves. So we see how important is tulsi. on the coral paved banks of transcendental reservoir of water. While offering worship to the Lord, they can see on the water the reflection of their beautiful faces. And it appears that they have become more beautiful because of Lord being with her, spending, yeah, enjoying with the goddesses of fortune. And now what happens is, it is said that Yenna Vrajanti Agha Biddo, what kind of situation is that? It is very much regrettable that unfortunate people do not discuss the description of Vaikuntha. Rather, that's why he said Agabido. Agabido is saying the vanquisher of kinds of sins. People are just interested in committing so many. What are they doing? Yes, tu Shushta Hata Bagair Nibir Atta Saras. And he says, those who give up the topics of Vaikunta and take to the talks of material world are thrown into the darkest region of ignorance. Where are they thrown? Tam stan kshipanti asaraneshu tamasu hanta. This is what happens. Yeah, this is what the glories of Vaikunta is said, and people who do not have any interest to go, hmm, how they're casted into lower planets. It says, in this way, Lord Brahma is telling the beauty of this Vaikuntha planet, and he says, finally, there are unfortunate people. One fourth of the whole creation are so unfortunate that they don't have taste for the Lord. That's why they come to the material world. Hmm? So Lord Brahma is saying, the human form of life is of such important that we also desire to have such life. In human form, one can attain perfect religious truth and knowledge. If one in this human form does not understand the Lord, then it is to be understood that he is very much affected by the influence of external energy. Hmm? So, Yacha Vrajanti Animisham Rishabhanu Dure Yamahi Upari Nah Sprineya Shilaha Bhartur Mita Suyasaha Kathanu Raga Vaiklavya Vaiklavya Bhashpa Kalaya Pulaki Kritanga. He says, tears, Bhashpa, the tears, Bhashpa Kalya, Kalaya, Pulaki, shivering. Persons whose bodily features change in ecstasy and who breathe heavily and perspire due to hearing the glories of the Lord are promoted to the kingdom of God. No? Which means there are people who are not taking to this, they anyway are suffering. But one who is just by hearing Bhagavatam, just by having the Shravanam, uh, and then developing a bit of Smaranam, they are so fortunate because they have ecstasy, they have happiness, and they breathe heavily and perspire in remembering the Lord. What is the benefit of that? So nice, right? Just sitting and hearing, and still you are getting ultimate benefit that you are promoted to the kingdom of God, even though they do not care for meditation and austerities. Tapa, it's very difficult, tapasya. Uh, it's very difficult to follow all the rigid rules and regulations. So nice if we are just hearing to the katha. The kingdom of God is above the material universes, and it is desired by Brahma and other demigods. Brahma himself is saying, I aspire to go to the spiritual world. He says, thus the great sages, Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanandan, and Sanat Kumar, upon reaching the above mentioned this Vaikuntha, hmm, what happened is they experienced something very special. Though they have traveled to different material planets uh, but the spiritual planet was different. By the dint of their mystic yoga performance, perceived unprecedented happiness. They had experienced so great happiness. This is what is, I mean, please excuse me if I'm just going little more detail, but it's a nice opportunity to absorb these small things so that this can be our object of meditation whenever we think about practicing devotion. तस्मिन् अतीत्य मुनया षड् असज्जमाना कक्षा समान वयसाव अथ सप्तमायां देवा अचक्षित गृहीत गदौ परार्ध्य केयूर कुंडल किरीट वितंक Vesho. He's saying, now these are the glorifications of the people who have seen. We are not kind of creating because it's a very artistic, artful, createful. No, it is the person who have seen, who have narrating that after passing through the six entrances, uh, it said, shed asajjanam. After they have crossed the six entrances of this Vaikunta, uh, the Lord resides inside this Vaikuntapura, right? With they, without feeling astonishment at all, the decoration, they saw the seventh gate. Two shining beings of same age. They were standing as the gatekeepers. That's what they observed. And in the purport, Prabhupada is giving, I think, was it Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur or only, yeah, it's, I think, Prabhupada's own commentary here. He says, the, the not clear. Yes, the sages were so eager to see the Lord. I mean, that's why what was that they didn't see in the six doors was they didn't make everything in their mind what they have seen, the beauty, etc. But because they were blocked at the seventh door, but because of this small time, they could start seeing what is all this so beautiful. These two persons are looking same. They are the doorkeepers, yeah, who are none other than Jaya Vijaya. Of course, the Lord, they are associates of the Lord. They guard the doors. There are the seven doors, and when they came to the last door, they saw all these things. The inhabitants of Vaikunta are decorated like the Supreme Lord Narayan with Shankha, Chakra, Gada, and Padma. It is not that only Lord Vishnu is carrying all this. It is all the inhabitants and doorkeepers also are carrying that. Matta Matta Dvirepa Vanamalikaya Nivitau. Anyway, this is about these two doorkeepers. How are they? These doorkeepers were garlanded with fresh flowers which attracted intoxicated bees and which were placed around their necks and between their four mm, blue arms. Yeah, they all look bluish like the Lord. From their arched eyebrows, discontented nostrils, and reddish eyes, they appeared somewhat agitated. This is what the Kumaras are seeing. The Chatur Kumaras, when they saw that somehow they look same, they look fresh, like everything, but somehow they have reddish eyes and they were discontented, lifting their nose and eyebrows like this. That was something they saw. Hmm. And then the great sages, headed by Sanaka, had opened the doors everywhere, but they had no idea of uh, um, them coming, ours and because the for Kumaras there was no discrimination between ours and yours. Yeah, they were completely free from du duality. Uh, do let me know if there is any net issues. Yeah. Mm. Yeah.
No, Prabhuji, everything is clear, Prabhuji.
Okay. Thank you. So. So here it says, although the four Kumaras are very old in years, maintain themselves eternally as small children. They don't want to go, don't want to grow, and their mind was as like, you know, childlike innocence. So that's why they didn't really see what are the protocols, what are the process and everything. They just entered all the six doors, and here also they wanted to just go as if like, will the children of the parents will check, hey, shall we open the door or not? No, they just go and they just yeah, spontaneous love or spontaneous feelings of love. That's what the Kumaras had, and they just wanted to go. They were not at all duplicitous, and they entered the door exactly as little children enter places without any idea what it is to trespass. We don't know, right? You may have different boards or you may have different cameras, doesn't matter. For kids, they want to know what, uh, if they want to go, they just go. A child can enter any place and no one checks him. Indeed, a child is generally welcome in his attempts to go places, but if it so happens that a child is checked from entering a door, he naturally becomes very sorry and angry, right? The kid will cry. Why? Because he is not able to do what he want. And kid will first shout and try to get his work done. If otherwise, he'll cry and No? So that is the nature of child. Hmm? And these four Kumaras are child-like saints. Yeah. So they didn't had all these protocols and they were just thinking, hey, we are coming. And then these four boys who had nothing to cover their bodies but the atmosphere was their covering, looked only 5 year old, even though they were the oldest of all living creatures and had realized the truth of self. Uh, the first created beings, these four Kumaras, right, from Lord Brahma, which means they are very old, but they always remained like 5 year old. So in this way, they were thinking, who has blocked? They blocked their way with their staffs, despising their glories. Although the sages did not deserve such treatment at their hands. So then, this is something going to happen. Some action definitely will happen. And here, what happens is that uh, saints were not to be forbidden to enter the Vaikuntha planet, but by chance the doorman objected to their entrance. Saints are very, very dear to the Lord. And when the saints are so dear to the Lord, just imagine when someone is visiting who is very dear, no protocols are required. And um, here they were stopped. This was not fitting. The Lord is always anxious to serve the sages like the Kumaras, but in spite of knowing this fact, the doormen astonishingly and outrageously prohibited them from entering. This is not to be done, and the cause of that should be corrected. So, what happens when the Kumaras, although by far the fittest persons, were thus forbidden by these two doorkeepers of Sri Hari, uh, while other divinities looked on, their eyes suddenly turned red because of anger due to their great eagerness to see their most beloved master. They wanted to see the Lord, but what is this something coming? They became very angry. Hmm? And then these four Kumaras who are considered liberated, but still they were angry because they were restricted in their service to the Lord. Yeah, they just want to go and engage. They may have a plan to go and ask, "Oh Lord, what can we do? How can we serve?" But here the doorkeeper stopped, and that caused this difference between anger of an ordinary person and that of a liberated person. We should understand. An ordinary person is disturbed and becomes angry when his desire for his own self interest is challenged. And a devotee, a liberated person who has no ours and yours, who has only interest of giving, his intention is only to serve the Lord. When he is checked, then he is uh, he is prone to become angry. In the case of Ramayana, we can see how Hanuman has burned the Lanka. So this anger is justified. Why? Because they want to serve in that spirit of service. And became angry because his sense desires are not being fulfilled. That is ordinary man. Whereas liberated man is, it's not that he want to discharge uh, duties that he has towards the Lord. So in this way we can see although Kumaras were also liberated persons, they nevertheless became angry. And this point is very important because liberated does not necessitate losing one's sensual activities. Liberated means doesn't mean that he is no more using his senses. A liberated person is the expert of using his senses in the service of the Lord, which means when one becomes liberated, it's not that one attains shunya state or Brahman state, but he understands that the purpose of this body, the purpose of the senses is to engage in the service of the Lord through which we can please the Lord and attain our to serve Janardhana. It says. So the difference. So anyway, after that, Kova Ihaitya Bhagavat Paricharya, you are is saying, how come these great sages, the Kumaras are discussing, tad dharminam nivasata vishwa vishama swabhava. How come that a person who is in Vaikuntha behave like this? Tasmin prashanta purushe gata vigrahe va ko. Why? How? You're saying, who is this? Who is this? Ko vatmavat, vatmavat kuhakaho parishankaniya. I'm not becoming trustworthy, maintaining duplicity. First of all, in Vaikuntha, there should not be duplicity. How come that these people may have duplicity? That's why they are stopping us. Who are these two persons who have developed such a discontent mentality? Matsara means mine and yours. Uh, Even though they are posted in the service of the Lord in the highest position, uh, and are expected to have developed the same qualities as Lord. uh, how are these two persons living in Vaikunta? Where is the possibility of an enemies coming into the kingdom of God? Hmm? Yeah, this is logical, right? We may think, huh, it's not just like going into a country and conquering the country and going. We are talking about spiritual world, Vaikunta. How can some, even if they have tinge of material understanding and duality, he cannot even enter Vaikunta. So what is danger to the Lord? The Lord has no enemy. Who could be envious of him? Probably these two persons are imposters, therefore they suspect others to be like themselves. They are thinking these boys are stopping because they think that we are imposters or we are not good. So that's why I think it is their reflection. Just like if we see our face in the mirror, we may think in whatever we want. Hmm? So in that way, here it is said the difference between the inhabitants of Vaikunta and that of material world is mentioned here. Hmm? So anyway, we'll not go into great detail, but here Kumaras are concluding that the only reason for the doormen to check them was the doormen themselves were imposters. Imposter means who are not uh, genuine or cheaters. Imposter also means cheaters. Like what is cheating? That you are a hypocrite. Yeah? You are something, but you are doing something. Yeah? That is what is hypocrisy. So maybe that hypocrisy exposes one time. So maybe this is exposed now. So this is what the Kumaras were thinking. And then uh, in the Vaikuntha world, there is complete harmony between the residents and the Lord. Just as there is complete harmony within space between the big and small skies, why then there is a seed of fear in this field of harmony? Why are the doormen afraid of us that they have stopped us to enter? Uh, this is what they are. Yeah, they are in a rage, in anger. They are saying. Therefore, let us consider how these two contaminated persons should be punished. Tad Vam Amushya Paramasya Vikunta Bhartyur, the servants of Vaikunta, Kartum Prakrishtam Iha Dhimahi Manda Dhibhyam. So they are so dull, those who are lacking intelligence, their intelligence is not very nice. So let's do something. This is what, yeah. The punishment should be apt, for thus benefit can eventually be bestowed upon them. So, in this anger, as I said, the difference between ordinary anger and anger of liberated person is they are only thinking how to rectify the shortfall of a person. So, in that spirit, they are thinking, how should we punish so that they are rectified? Since they find a duality in the existence of Vaikuntha, because they are having this feeling of duality in Vaikuntha, they are contaminated and should be removed from this place to the material world. From this place, they have to be sent to the material world where the living entities have three kinds of enemies. Um, so, what are the three enemies? Kama, Krodha, Lobha. Kama, yeah, lust, sorry, desire, anger, and lust. So these are the things that are there. So may they go, because these symptoms are not befitting here, but they belong to the material world. So when the doormen of Vaikuntha, who were certainly devotees of, it's not that they were not devotees of the Lord. They are devotees, and that's why the Lord has appointed them as the doorkeepers. They found that they were being cursed by Brahmanas. They at once became very much afraid and fell down at their feet. For a Brahmana's curse cannot be counteracted by any kind of weapon. That is also we will know now more. So here the doormen committed a mistake by checking the Brahmanas. This is a fact we can see. Although, and that too, it's by chance it happened. Entering the gate of Vaikuntha, here these Jaya Vijay have stopped. They were at once aware of the gravity of the curse. Why? Because this curse is not ordinary. There are many kinds of offenses, but the greatest offense is to offend a devotee of the Lord, a Brahmana, that too a Brahmana who is refined to perfection, which means a Brahmana is not just for a name or a position, but he is not just even self-realizing, but he understands the whole and sole purpose of life of a Brahmana is to worship the Lord. Then he becomes a Vaishnava. Huh? And a Vaishnava automatically becomes a Brahmana. It doesn't mean, I mean, these verses will come shortly later. So, but the greatest offense is to offend a devotee. So, they understood what kind of issue is going to happen. So, after being cursed by the sages, now the doorkeepers are saying, it is quite apt that you have punished us for neglecting to respect sages like you. Yeah. But we pray that due to your compassion at our repentance, yeah, they're saying now we really repent for what we have done, and please show compassion. The illusion of forgetting the Lord will not come upon us as we go progressively down. Adoda. Though we are going down to the worlds where all these things are there, more and more down, but please show compassion that we remember the Lord always. So that is the beauty of devotee. To a devotee, any heavy punishment is tolerable, but the one which affects forgetfulness of the Lord, it's unbearable, intolerable. So that's why they ask, please. It is said in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 16, 19, 20, we can see it is said that those who are envious of the Lord and his devotees are thrown, envious of Lord and his devotees, they are thrown into hellish planets, uh, into all abominable life after life. So, and they continue going down and down. एवं तदैव भगवान अरविंद नाभ स्वानम विबुध्य सद अतिक्रमम आर्य हृदय तस्मिन् ययौ परमहंस महामुनीनाम अन्वे अन्वेषणीय चरणौ चलयन सह श्री. It said, at that very moment, the Lord, when all this was happening, the Lord saw, oh, something is happened. So what happened is the Lord came to the door. It is said, at the moment, the Lord who is called Padmanabha, Bhagavan Aravinda Nabha. Aravinda means lotus, Nabha means navel. Uh, uh, because of lotus grown from his navel, and who is the delight of the righteous, learned about the insult offered by his own servants to the saints. Accompanied by his spouse, goddess Lakshmi, he went to the spot on those very feet sought for by recluses and greats. So he didn't wait for an order for his Garuda to come. Of course, Garuda was there, but he just immediately understanding the gravity of the problem, he just left along with his dear wife to the spot. Hmm. And what happened then? Tamtva agatam pratihrit tapo ikam swa pumbihis. It is said, te chaksha. Anyway, this is also description about when the Lord came, how the Lord was so nice. The darshan of the Lord itself is so mesmerizing. He says, the sages headed by Sanaka Rishi, Sanaka Rishi saw that the supreme personality of Godhead, Vishnu, who was formerly uh, um, visible only within their hearts, because these were uh, mm, dhyana yogis, the liberated, the four Kumaras, they have meditated the Lord in their heart and they were worshipping the Lord in their heart. But now they could see the Lord out in this such a wonderful form. As he came forward, accompanied by his own associates, bearing all paraphernalia, like there was one whisking the chamara, one was holding the umbrella, and the white bunches of hair moved very nice, gently, like two swans. And due to their favorable breezes, the pearls garlanding the umbrella also moved, like drops of nectar falling from the white full moon. So this is, glorification of how the darshan is. And not only that, Krishna Prasada Sumukha Sprihaniya Dhama. Uh, the Lord is the reservoir of all pleasure. His auspicious presence is meant for everyone's benediction. Uh, Thus, it appeared that Lord was personally spreading the beauty and good fortune of the spiritual world when when the Lord and all his associates were coming. All the good fortune that one can get by having the darshan, the four Kumaras were having there. So it is said that, so he was adorned with this. I mean, I appreciate you to go through, because here we are describing the form of Lord Vishnu when they saw Vishnu, how it was. But actually, we want to go to the actual appearance of Varahadev. It's also very, very nice. That's why I'm a bit speeding up. It said, um, yeah, so there is this Kaustubha jewel and a charming necklace hung between his arms. His neck was adorned with the gem. With Kaustubha jewel, and further, this beauty, exquisite beauty of Narayan, being many times magnified by the intelligence of his devotees, was so attractive that it defeated the pride of goddess of fortune in being the most beautiful. Goddess of fortune, Mahalakshmi, is so beautiful, but even that uh, was low, or inferior when compared to the beauty of the Lord's darshan. And saying so, he said, my dear demigods, yeah, this is Brahma is telling to the Devatas, my dear demigods, the Lord was thus manifested himself, is worshipable by me, by Lord Shiva, and by all of you. The sages regarded him with unsated eyes and joyfully bowed their heads at his lotus feet. And then it is said, Tasyaravinda Nayanasya Padaravinda Kinjalka Mishra Tulasi Makaranda Vayu Antargataswa Viparena Chakara Tesham Sankshobha Sankshobham Akshara Jusam Api Chitta Tanvo. It said, when the breeze in this was carrying the aroma of tulsi leaves from the toes of the lotus feet of the Lord, entered the nostril. This is very important. When the fragrance of, or this puppuri, the powder of the tulsi leaf, which was at the toe of the Lord, when it entered into the nostrils of the Kumaras, what happened is so nice. They experienced a change both in body and in mind, even though they were attached to impersonal Brahman, though they were practicing the formless form of worship, but just the dust that was, the tulsi dust that was at the toe of Lord, that went into the nostrils of the Kumaras, and immediately everything changed. And then they started offering Teva Amushya Vadanasita Padma Kosham Udvikshya Sundara Tarar Kunda Hasam. And Labdhashisha Punar Aveksha Tadiyam Angri Dvandam. What happened is Dvandam Pay sorry Dvandvam Nakaruna Mani Shayanam Nidadyuha. He says the Lord's beautiful face appeared to be to them like inside of a blue lotus, and the Lord's smile appeared to be a blossoming jasmine flower. And after seeing the face of the Lord, the sages were fully satisfied. Until now, in the Dhyana Yoga, there is sometimes always this sense, oh, no. Now they are fully satisfied that beyond that there is can be nothing. And when they wanted to see him further, they looked upon the nails of his lotus feet, which resembled rubies. Thus they viewed the Lord's transcendental body again and again, and so they finally achieved meditation on the Lord's personal feature. It is very, very important and very, very supreme. The Lord can be realized in three forms: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Bhagavan is the personal feature of the Lord, which means the Lord has a form, and that is the topmost realization. When Vishwamitra Muni, when he was taking Lord Ram and Lakshman to the to kill Tadaka and to give to get protection for performing yajna, when at um, when in the early morning, while Ram and Lakshman were laying along the banks of Sarayu river, Vishwamitra comes and just sees the face. That is after he takes the boys from Ayodhya. Then the next day, when he sees the face, he says, "How fortunate it is, Kaushalya, Kaustubhanga. She is so fortunate to see this wonderful form of Lord, that she is so fortunate." And even Vishwamitra Muni, who was a stern um, worshipper in this dhyana yoga in the form and also in the Paramatma form, he appreciated the beauty in the Bhagavan form. So it is not just that one is having nice murtis in temples. No, in fact, the Lord comes out of His causeless mercy into the Vigraha, into so that we can engage in Archa Vigraha, means serving the Lord in the Vigraha form. Uh, and this form is not just carved by any sthapatas. No, they have their own courses, they have their own studies, just like we have Vedas, they study and they carve those forms that they don't, they select the right stone, they select the right pose and right way of carving. Uh, so this is the form of the Lord which is meditated upon by the followers of the yoga process, and it is pleasing to the yogis in meditation. It is not imaginary but factual. This is what it's as proved by great yogis. So saying so, and yeah, there is this. Which verse was that? It's so big. Verse number 45, chapter 16 or 15. We have 15. Yeah, we have few chapters to cover. After this, now the Kumaras are saying, after having the darshan of the Lord in such a way, they are saying, Kumara Vacha, Yo antarhito hridi gatopi duratmanam tvam, so jaiva no nayana moolam anantaradha, yarhi eva karna vivarena guham gato naha, pitranuvarnita raha bhavan udbhavena. He's saying your appearance, bhavat udbhavena, your appearance is so nice. Huh? Oh, our dear Lord, you are not manifested to rascals, even though you are seated within their hearts of everyone. Though Lord is in everyone's heart as Paramatma, you do not manifest this form. But as far as we are concerned, we see you face to face, although you are unlimited. The statements we have heard about you from our father Brahma through the years have now been actually realized by your kind appearance. So, whatever Lord Brahma had told, that was just theory or knowledge. But now, with your Divya Darshan, we are so blessed. This is what is yogis. These yogis are expressing. Tam tvam vidama bhagavan param atma tattvam satvena samprati ratih rachayantam esham yatte anutapa anutapa viditair drida bhaktir yogair ugrayanto Hridi Vidur Munayo Viragaha. Ah, great sage Munayo Viragaha means the great sage is not interested in material life. We know that you are the supreme truth. Ah, this transcendental eternal form of yours can be understood only by your mercy. Ah, so please show your mercy. There is an Natyanik नाट्यांतिकम विगनयन्ति अपि ते प्रसादम किम अन्यद अर्पित भयम ब्रुवु ब्रुव उन्नयैते ये अंग त्वत् अंघ्रि शरण भगवत कथाया कीर्तन्य तीर्थ यश कुशल रसज्ञा. He says, persons who are very expert and most intelligent in understanding things as they are engage in hearing narrations of auspicious activities and pastimes. They are saying they are always interested in chanting and worth hearing. Uh, Such persons do not care even for the highest material benediction, namely liberation. Uh, Highest is liberation, even that they don't care. So, what to say about less things like heavenly planet, material happiness? They don't care for all that. Kamam bhava swa vrajiner nirayeshu nah stha cheto cheto alivad yadi nu te padayo rameta vachastanas tulasivad yati te angri shobha purve eta te guna gunair yadi karna randraha. This is it confirms the greatness of Tulsi with this verse. It says, we pray that you let us be born in any hellish condition of life, just as long as our hearts and minds are always engaged in your service. So they are saying for us, we don't even need a high birth, even wherever, even if we are going sent to hellish planets. no worries, but we want service at your lotus feet. Our words are made beautiful, just as tulsi leaves are beautiful when offered unto your lotus feet. As long as our ears are always filling with chanting with the transcendental. So we always want to hear you, your glories. This is what they say. प्रादुषक्षोकर्त यद इदं पुरु पुरुहूतरूपं तेनेश निवृत्तिम् अपापुर अलम दृशो नः तस्मा इदं भगवते नम इति विधेम यो न आत्म दुरुदयो भगवान प्रतीतः. They are saying, oh Lord, we therefore offer our respectful obeisances to you, your supreme eternal form, cannot be seen by unfortunate, less intelligent, but we are so much satisfied in our mind and vision to see you. There it concludes. This is the description of Vaikuntha planet. And then the Lord has come not just to hear all these glories, right? Why did the Lord come? Because there was a scene of emergency. What is the emergency? That the doorkeepers of Vaikuntha are cursed. How? How can this be mitigated? So Lord Brahma is continuing saying, after thus congratulating the sages of the nice word, the Supreme Lord, now he spoke. What did the Lord speak? Uh, he said, Etau tau parshadau mahyam jaya vijaya evacha kadarhi kritya mam yadvo bahva kratam atikramam. He straight away said, he told to the Kumaras that, these attendants of mine, Jaya and Vijaya, uh, have committed a great offense against you because of ignoring me. What does that mean? It means that it was not the desire of the Lord that the Kumaras to be checked. The devotees can come and go anytime because they are always dear to the Lord and Lord is dear to them. So the Lord is telling that Vijaya and Jaya have committed offense. To commit an offense at the lotus feet of the Lord is great wrong. Hmm? And so that's why in Vaikuntha there is still chance to commit offense. Here we can see that um, the Jaya and Vijaya, though they were as the doorkeepers, yeah, of Vaikuntha, still they have committed this. That, but by this pastime we can understand this. So, but if by chance one commits an offense in Vaikuntha, if then what is the purpose of going to Vaikuntha? Then again we have a problem. No, what happens is the Lord personally protects. This is what we see in this pastime, that the Lord personally comes to protect. In fact, the Lord has come 3 times to protect his devotees. This is what we will see. He comes to protect. So what he did is, um, he is even if one commits offense in the spiritual world in Vaikuntha, then the Lord comes to protect personally because he cares so much. So here we can see that he himself manages matters in such a way that the devotee is not bereft of having audience at his Lord. So the Lord comes to make sure that his devotees are corrected and again come back to Vaikunt as soon as possible and engage in service. So that's the purpose. And so he comes and then he is telling, I approve of the punishment that you have given to my devotees. So the Lord is saying, whatever you have said is right. Then to me, Lord is telling that tad vah prasadayami adya brahma daivam param he me. He's saying to me, Brahmana is the highest and most beloved personality. Tad dhi tad dhiti atma kritam manye yatsva pumbir asat krita. So the disrespect shown by my attendants has actually been displayed by me because the doormen are my servitors. So it is said, I accept this mistake that has done by my doorkeepers as mine because I am their master and I should make sure that such things shouldn't happen. So, in fact, it is me. I take this to be an offense by myself. Therefore, I seek your forgiveness for incident that has arisen. The Lord is asking forgiveness from the Kumaras. Yeah? Yen namani cha grinati loko bhritye kritagasi. So sadhu vadas tat kirtim hanti tvacham Ivamaya. He's saying a wrong committed. This is what happened. The example given by Lord is that if someone has a wrong act committed by a servant leads people in general to blame his master, isn't it? Yeah, because if a local politician makes a mistake, then immediately we say, "Hey, the whole party, the main person who is the party, he's not managing well." So how it can be understood, just as a spot of white leprosy on any part of the body pollutes all the skin. Of course, we now don't have leprosy, so we don't know what is leprosy. But if we just read about it, a few hundred years, not few hundred, yeah, 100 years back, we can see that when people were stuck with leprosy, then what happens is the bodily parts, yeah, they start becoming loose because of pus, and they just drop, fingers, face, legs, So there was uh, uh, such a danger. It just is one white spot. If one doesn't take care of that one initial infection, this spreads in the body, and then the whole body is damaged. It means here Lord is saying, even if there is one doorkeeper or one servant who is doing this, then it cannot be just accepted. It is only my doorkeepers now, that is okay, let them do it, I can manage it. No, the Lord wants to make sure that even if they are very very near and dear to him, he want to make sure that they are corrected. So he is saying a wrong act committed by a servant leads people in general to blame his master. So the master is to be blamed, which is right. So it's important that the servant, even if it is small, he should be corrected. So that's why a Vaishnava therefore should be fully qualified. Hmm. यस्यामृतामल यश श्रवणावागः सद्य पुनाति जगद आस्वपचाद विकुंतः सोहम भवद्भ्य उपलभ्य सुतीर्थ कीर्तिस चिंद्याम स्व बाहुम अपि वह pratikula vrittim. He is saying anyone in the entire world, even down to the Chandala, who lives by cooking and eating the flesh of a dog, is immediately purified if he takes bath in hearing through the ears about the glories of my name, fame, etc. Now you have realized me without doubt. Therefore, I will not hesitate to lop off my own arm if Hmm. The Lord is saying that if at all, if I have to cut my own hand, if I cannot give protection, yeah, Lord is called, is giving abhaya, right? Protection to everyone. If I cannot protect you, then what is the use of this hand? I am ready to even cut this hand. Even if a person is a Chandala, here we are talking about Brahmanas, even if a person is a Chandal, but if he has a taste for hearing the names, fame of the Lord, then now you have realized me without doubt. Therefore, I will not hesitate to lop off my own arm if it conducts if its conduct is found hostile to you. If whatever I have done, my hand, here they are saying, the Lord is saying, the doorkeepers, if they have done something wrong, I am ready to punish myself. Yet sevaya charana padma pavitra renum, he is saying, glorifying the Brahmanas. uh, Yet sevaya charana padma pavitra renum sadhya kshatakila malam shaktakila malam pratilabdha shilam na shriya vir viraktam api mam vijahati yasya preksha lavartha itare niyaman vihanti. It says, because I am the servitor of of devotees, my lotus feet has become so sacred that they immediately wipe off all sins. And I have acquired such disposition. My feet are so special, so special. Why? Because uh, uh, become so sacred that because I am servitor of my devotees. Because I am serving my devotees, I am become glorified. And so much that I have acquired such disposition that the goddess of fortune does not leave me, even though I have no attachment for her, while others praise her beauty and observe sacred vows to secure her. Everyone is behind Lakshmi Devi and all attractive that she can best of everything. I have no interest, but she has. Lakshmi Devi is called. Oh, there is this in one second. I think I have somewhere. No. So in the Sharanagati Gadya, there is the first verse which glorifies Lakshmi Devi, and it is said that Lakshmi Devi never leaves the Lord. Hmm. Oh, one sec. I don't know if I have it somewhere. I think. Uh, um, uh, no. No, I think it will come. I forgot that is how she is glorified. Hmm. So here here the Lord is saying that Lakshmi Devi, um, who is slight, even if one does a slight favor to they are really waiting for her slight favor. For that they are doing everything, but I am not so keen. So in other words, as a devotee is always anxious to render service, so the Lord is ever anxious to render service to the Lord, to the Lord. So devotees are eager to serve the Lord, and Lord is eager to serve the devotees. So that is what the Lord is saying, and that's why we call the Lord cannot tolerate any inconvenience on the part of devotees. That's why he is famous, known as Bhakta Vatsalah. Hmm. Naham tathadmi yajamana havir vitane श्योतद ग्रह प्लुतम अदन हुत भून मुखेन यद ब्राह्मणस्य मुखतश्चरतो अनुघाषम तुष्टस्य मयि अवहितैर निज कर्म पाकै. He's saying, I do not enjoy the oblations. We know the yajnas, right? I do not enjoy the oblations offered by the sacrifices in the sacrificial fire. Huh? We know, na, Lord says that this yajna is the mouth of Vishnu. Hmm? But I don't enjoy that so much compared to uh, the delicacies overflowing with ghee which are offered to the mouths of the Brahmanas. So the mouth of Brahmana is so nice that whatever the prasadam that they are getting, they are eating, I am accepting that. That's why we may see, na, why every program there is this all interest of how invite brahmanas and serve them. And why? Because it is said that even compared to this yajna, which is also the mouth of Vishnu, the mouth of brahmanas, which the Lord is saying is so nice. He says, who have dedicated to me the results of their activities and who are ever satisfied with my prasad. So that is very pleasing. So here is he goes on glorifying the greatness of the Brahmanas. Yesham bibharmi aham akhanda vikunta yoga maya vibhutir amalagri raja kiritai vipram tuko na vishaheta yad arhanamba sadyam punati saha chandra lalama lokan. I am the master of my unobstructed internal energy, and the water of Ganges is the remnant left from my feet. The water that sanctifies the three worlds. Huh? Uh, Along with Lord Shiva, who bears it on his head. If I take the dust of the feet of Vaishnava on my head, who will refuse to do the same? So, when I myself want the dust of the feet of the devotees on my head, I really want, when I myself, the Lord who is so great, I am longing for the dust of the devotees. Who else will not want it? So that is the glory that he is saying, hey, you are all so great. So he, in this way, he has the greatest respect for Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. When the Lord himself offers so much respect, why shouldn't others do it? Hmm? Saying so, he said, the Brahmanas, the cows and defenseless creatures are my own body, and I'm ready to protect. Uh, and he says, those whose anyway, we go to that. We skip that for now because this is also nice, but we go to the main theme slowly. On the other hand, they captivate my heart, who are gladdened in heart, and whose their lotus faces enlightened by nectarian smile. Respect the Brahmanas, even though the Brahmanas utter harsh words. They look upon the Brahmanas as my own self and pacify them by praising them in loving words, even as a son would appease an angry father, or as a I am pacifying you. Here clearly, Lord Vishnu is slowly telling, forget about what is the quality of Brahmana if he is Brahmana. Sometimes we may think, na, is he qualified? The Lord is saying, even if a Brahmana is talking harshly, here says, I still hmm, honor. These servants of mine have transgressed against you, not knowing the mind of their master. I shall therefore deem it a favor done to me if you order that. Hmm? So, what you have done is right, but can you do me a favor? What is it? Although reaping the fruit of their transgression, they may return to my presence soon, and the time of their exile from my abode may expire uh, before long. So, Lord Vishnu is saying, I am respecting what you have done. I have great respect to Brahmanas, etc., etc. He is also saying, but can you please show mercy so that they can come back quickly? Huh? They can come back. Therefore, this incident, Prabhupada writes in the purport that therefore this incident proves that those who have once entered a Vaikuntha planet can never fall down. We should not see that Jaya Vijaya have fallen down. Why? Because the Lord is anxious. Here we understand how Lord is anxious to get his servitors back to Vaikuntha. The case of Jaya and Vijay is not fall down, but it is an accident. This is how we should see. And in fact, the Lord has taken all the responsibility for the doorman's offense and requested the sages to give them facility to return to Vaikuntha as soon as possible. So, and Brahma continued, even though the sages have been bitten by the serpent of anger, their souls were not satiated with hearing the Lord's lovely and illuminating speech. And uh, when they were hearing all this is so nice, the Lord's excellent speech was difficult to understand. Now they were in a puzzle. Did Lord appreciate what they have done? Or did Lord is not happy. They were not sure what is happening. Yeah? On one side, he is saying, hey, Brahman, he has come here. How come a Lord who is supreme, so great? In fact, we come to have his darshan, which means he is master. And how can he come and become so humble, like as if becoming our servant? The sages heard it with wide open ears what Lord said, and they were pondering it well. But although hearing, they could not understand what the Lord intended to do, because the Lord is not so easy to understand. They could not understand whether the Lord was angry or pleased by what Brahmanas did. The four Brahmanas were nevertheless extremely delighted to behold him. Forget about uh, mind, we don't know, but at least the heart is content because of the darshan of the Lord. They were thrilled by seeing the body. Then they spoke as follows. They were saying, Navayam Bhagavan Vidmas Tava Deva Chikirsitam Kritomi Anugrahas Cheti Yad Adhyaksha Prabhasase. He's saying, we are unable to know what you intend for us to do. For even though you are the supreme ruler of all, you speak in our favor as if we have done something good for you. You're telling as if like we have done some great thing for you. We didn't understand. Brahmanasya param daivam brahmana kila te prabho vipranam deva devanam bhagavan atma daivatam. He's saying, oh Lord, you are the supreme director of the Brahmanical culture. You're considering the Brahmanas to be in the highest position is example for teaching others. Actually, you are the supreme worshipable deity, not only for gods, but for the Brahmanas also. Ah, it is you who are showing great. Tattva sanatano dharma rakshyate tanubhistava dharmasya paramo guhyo nirvikaro bhavamata. He's saying, you are the source of eternal occupation of living entities. You are the supreme object of religion. In our opinion, you are inexhaustible and unchangeable. Huh? Nirvikaro, Nirvikaro Bhavan Mata. In here, Nirvikara means not having any form. No, unchangeable. Vikara means transformation or a change. Nirvikar means unchangeable. Hmm? So this is what they are saying. Tarantihi anjasa mrityum nivritta yad anugrahat yogina sa bhavam kim svid anugraheta yat paraihi. He's saying, it is you who are showering mercy. You shower your favor. It is not possible, therefore, that the Supreme Lord can be favored by others, which means we can be favored by you, but we cannot favor you. This is what they are saying. In fact, this is devotees want to associate with the Supreme Lord eternally and serve Him. It has already been admitted that Lord is eternal, and those who want favor are also eternal. Here we can see, and then yam vai vibhutir upayati anuvelam anyer. It says the goddess of Lakshmi, the dust of whose feet is worn on the head of others, waits upon you as appointed, for she is anxious to secure a place in the abode of kings of beasts. She is ever eager, right? So she is always waiting for us to offer her service, uh, and uh, you are exceedingly attached to the activities of your devotees, yet you never attach it to the goddess of fortune. So here, of course, goddess of fortune is also a devotee. It's not that. Um, so, how can you be purified? Therefore, by the dust of the path traversed by the Brahmanas, and how can you be glorified or made fortunate by the marks of Srivatsa on your? They are saying, what is our level that we can purify you? You are very generously telling that the dust of the Brahmanas' feet is so great. No, what is there? We can't give anything. Yeah, you are the reservoir of all good fortune. Dharmasya te bhagavat triyuga tribhir sway. You, the Lord, to establish dharma, you come in three yugas. Padbhis charachara idam dvija devatarham. Nunam brihatam tad abhigati rajastamascha satvena no varadaya tanuva nirasya. He says, you are the personification of all religion, therefore you manifest yourself in three yugas. By your grace, which is pure goodness and is bestower of all blessings, kindly drive away the elements of rajas and tamas for the sake of demigods and twice born. So please protect us, O Lord. So in this way, uh, he offers prayers. I mean, there is still a nice, good list of prayers. Tatte anabhishitam eva sattva nidher vidishto shemam janaya nija shaktibhir udrite udrutareha. It says, you never want the auspicious path to be destroyed, for you are the reservoir of all goodness. Therefore, your potency is not reduced by your submissive behavior. Rather, now, like you are just saying, can you, yeah, if you become submissive, rather by submission, you exhibit your transcendental pastimes more. So, and then yes, they say, yam, yam, yam vanayor यम वानयोर दम अधीश भवान विदत्ते वृत्तिम नु वा तद अनुमन्महि निर्वलीकम अस्मासु वायु उचितो ध्रियताम स दंडो. He is saying now, please, Lord, whatever, oh Lord, whatever punishment you wish to award to these two innocent persons, or also to us, we shall accept without duplicity. We understand that we have cursed two faultless persons. Why? They understand that the Lord is faultless, and whatever the things that are done by His servants are also faultless. This is what they understood. We can again come back. How can it be? I don't know. Is everyone with me? Maybe I'm taking too much time. Yeah, this is very important. Hmm? Everyone with me?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you. So I was thinking,
Yes,
did I
Prabhuji.
break somewhere? And yeah. So here we see that the Chatur Kumaras, they realized what they have done. And they were thinking, okay, oh Lord, we will leave it to you. You are the best judge. You decide what should happen in the lives of those doorkeepers, and even in our lives. If we have done something, you are the one. You can. We understand that we have cursed two faultless persons. So now you please. So Sri Bhagavan Vacha, the Lord is saying, Eto suretara gatim pratipadya sadyah samramba sambrata samadhi anubadha yogo bhuya sakasara sakasham upayasyata asu yo vah shapo mayaiva nimitastad aveta vipra. He is saying, O Brahmanas, Know that the punishment you inflicted on them was originally ordained by me. So now, the judge is pacifying, hey, hey, don't worry, because Lord cannot see this guilt feeling or, this repentance to see for long. He said, you understood your mistake. Let me tell you one thing. Know that the punishment that you have inflicted on this Jaya and Vijaya is actually ordained by me. It's a plan of mine. It's a plan. And therefore, they will fall to a birth in a demonic family, but they will be firmly united with me in thought through mental concentration intensified by anger. So which means they always remember, they cannot sleep, they cannot, day and night, they always in anger, they always remember me so much, and they will return to my presence shortly. This is what confirms us what the leelas of the Lord is hard to understand. The Lord stated that the punishment inflicted on the doorkeepers was conceived by the Lord Himself, which means we can clearly say without the Lord's sanction, nothing can happen. It is to be understood that there was a plan in cursing the Lord's devotees in Vaikuntha. The Lord sometimes desired to fight. I mean, did I say yesterday there are reasons, two reasons? Hmm? We can give other reasons also, further reason. One reason was it is because Diti wanted children, and it was not the right time. That was one reason. The second reason here we are saying is that the Lord also wanted something. What is that He wanted? It is that He wanted to enjoy the uh, time of fighting. Yeah, because the Lord is the reservoir of all qualities, guna. So many qualities He has, and one of them. Raseshwar, Lord is called Raseshwar, means He enjoys so many mellows. In that one is Virya. Uh, Viryatvam means to be showing the strength. So it is that Lord sometimes desire to fight. The fighting spirit also exists in the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, how could that be manifested in all of us? In all? Because the Lord is the source of everything, anger, fighting are also inherent in the personality. When He desires to fight with someone, He has to find an enemy. But in Vaikuntha world, there is no enemy because there is no animosity there. Therefore, he sometimes come to the material world as an incarnation in order to manifest his fighting spirit. Yeah, we are noting the reasons. Yeah? It is the Lord's desire, and that is why it happened. I'll also tell another reason why the Lord wanted to appear. But here now Brahma is telling, Atate munayo drishtva nayanananda bhajanam. See how opportunate that these Kumaras, Brahma is saying, Atate munayo drishtva nayanananda bhajanam vaikuntam tat adhishtanam Vaikuntam cha Swayam Prabham. He is saying, then after having the darshan of the Lord and darshan of Vaikunta planet, the sages left that transcendental abode. Hmm? And after that, Bhagavantam parikramya pranipatyanu manya cha pratijagmu pramudha samsanto Vaishnavim Sriyam. Now, after this, the sages circumambulated the Lord, offered their obeisances, and returned extremely delighted at learning the divine opulence of Vaishnava. After this, now Bhagavan is saying, what is the Lord? The Lord then said to the attendants, Jaya Vijaya, saying, depart this place, but do not fear. Very nice, very nice. Bhagavan Anugava Aha Yatha Yatamma Bhaishtam Astusam Brahma Teja Samartopi Hantum Neche Matam Tume. He's saying, I am approving this. Though I am capable of nullifying the Brahmana's curse. No, no, his servant shouldn't think, hey, he's the Brahmana supreme, and they may not start going and not his, but we should not think it's only Brahmanas, we don't care the Lord. No, he's saying, though I am capable of nullifying the Brahmana's curse, I would not do so. On contrary, it has my approval. So this is what it says. Etad puraiva nidishtam ramaya kriddhaya yada purapavarita dvari vishanti mai uparate. He says, this departure from Vaikuntha. What I said, there is another reason. This is a reason. I'll tell, I mean, of course, I read the verse. Once upon a time, what happened is when Lord Vishnu and Lakshmi Devi, they were spending nice time together, intimate time, and at that time, what happens is Lakshmi Devi and Lord Vishnu, they engage in a small. She becomes angry. She says she was very angry because when she left my abode and then returned. What happened because of this kalaha between Vishnu and Lakshmi? Uh, Out of love or out of my expectation, oh, I want to serve like this. No, no, I don't want service. Whatever, we don't know. It is only the divine couple, they know. But they fought. And she became very angry and she left. And when after some time, um, she, yeah, of course, we know Lakshmi Devi never leaves Lord Vishnu. After some time, she thought, let me, maybe I should calm down. And she wanted to come back. When she came back, uh, then what happened is the doorkeeper stopped her. The doorkeepers, of course, out of genuine reason, they thought, oh, mother, if you again go again, this fighting, and we both may become angry and fight. Better, maybe not. Please don't. And then this was not appreciated by goddess. She was very angry because when she left my abode and then returned, you stopped her at the gate while I was sleeping. Huh? So they said, Lord might be taking rest. After all, you both had some unpleasant moments. So better, yeah, you stay. And that was not right. Who is the one who can stop Lakshmi Devi? And she was saying, after all, your own designations, your own positions, your own value is all about of because of Lakshmi. Lakshmi meaning is Lakshma. Lakshma means mm, uh, recognition is what is called Lakshma. And your recognition was what? To be servants as doorkeepers. So may that be gone. Because of that, you take proud. You became proud that you even check me. Your so that's why may that itself go. This is what she thought, and you stopped her at that gate while I was sleeping. And then what happened? The Lord assured the two Vaikuntha inhabitants Jaya Vijaya, by practicing mystic yoga system in anger, you will be cleansed of sin of disobeying Brahmanas, and within a very short time return to me. This is what the Lord said. Don't worry, but because you will be having this immense hmm, anger towards me, that way you are always remembering me by practicing mystic yoga. I don't know how we can practice mystic yoga when we are in angry mood. You will be cleansed of the sin of disobeying the Brahmanas, and then you come back to me. In this case, Srila Madhva Muni remarks in this connection that by practicing bhakti yoga, one can become free from all sinful reactions. Even a Brahma Shapa or curse by a Brahmana, which cannot be overcome by any other means, can be overcome by Bhakti Yoga. One can practice Bhakti Yoga in many rasas. That's why we were telling rasa. One of the rasa is Virya, to have this, or Krodha. Uh, what are other rasas? Madhurya, Sakhya, Shanta, Dasya, Vatsalya, Bhayanaka, Raudra. Hmm. Bhayanaka, Raudra, compassion, Karunya. So there are this there are many rasas of that 12 are uh, um, very known. In that also five are the primary and seven are the secondary rasas. So in that way, yeah, this is definitely can be engaged in the service of the Lord, and by that, when you are serving, yeah, what are you doing? You become a demon, and then I'm coming to fight. Of course, he didn't say all these plans to him in advance. So, but I am going to come back to rescue, and don't worry, you just become so angry, become always absorbed in thinking me. After thus speaking at the door of Vaikuntha, the Lord returned to his abode, where there are many celestial planes. Anyway, this is further details. Finally, Lord leaves, but those two doorkeepers, the best of the demigods, their beauty and luster, diminished by the curse of Brahmanas, became morose and fell from Vaikuntha and abode of the Supreme Lord. They finally had to leave to the material worlds. And Lord Brahma said, you know now what is the reason of this darkness? That Jaya and Vijaya are now in the womb of Diti. Because of that reason, what you are seeing is this darkness. Tayor asuro adhya tejasa yamayor hi va akshiptam teja etarhi bhagavam stad viditsati. He says, it is the prowess of these two asuras that has disturbed you, for it has minimized your power. There is no remedy within my power. Brahma is clearly saying, Akshiptam Teja Eta thus. Uh, Only one who can save is the Lord. However, for it is the Lord Himself who desires to do all this. What Brahma can do? When Lord Vishnu wanted that, what Brahma can stop? He's saying, uh, so just we can't do anything here. So, my dear sons, the Lord is the controller of three modes. So, just accept what His plan is. Saying so, uh, he pacified the hmm, he pacified the devatas who came and then, finally, oh, we just started session. We are now coming to the actual part, which is now Hiranyaksha does something, and due to which Varahadev is appearing. Maitreya Rishi is telling, that's what Lord Brahma told to the Devatas. This is what Maitreya Rishi is telling to Vidura, and he's saying uh, that Ditistu Bhartur Adeshad Apatya Parishak Shankini, Purne Varsha, 100 years she stopped her pregnancy, that she didn't deliver the child. On the birth of the two demons, then finish. There is whole description. I mean, we will not go into this part so much because this is all about what happened when these demons came. Then there was so much disturbance in all directions, all omens and all those things happened, and uh, there was, I mean, there are some details I'll not go. Yeah, because Diti has given birth to twins. One is Hiranyaksha, the second one is Hiranyakashipu. Who is the elder? It is Hiranyakashipu. Who was first born? It is Hiranyaksha. Because we know this. It's called Pinda Siddhi. In Pinda Siddhi, in Vedic scripture description, it is written that when the semen hits the ovum, then the first drop of the semen will be um, mm, developed in the in the womb above, and the first one who is coming out, the first one who is coming out is the younger, and the one who is coming next is the elder. So first Hiranyaksha came out, and then comes Hiranyakashipu. So the in this way they started causing all kinds of disturbances, and they very quickly grew in very huge forms like hulks, and they started mm, mm, creating all kinds of omens, just when they born as demonic person. They became so angry that they were not concerned with the supreme lord, but simply with physical comforts and physical upliftment. Yeah, after all, why we want to use power? After using the power, what we get is happiness. So they have exercised all their power so that they can enjoy like anything. And in this way, in the demonic civil in this way, they started creating all problems. And yeah, if you want to know about what I've said, it is in the verse 18th in the chapter 17. It's mentioned about this Pinda Siddhi, what is mentioned. So the younger brother is Hiranyaksha, the elder is Hiranyakashipu, and there were Hiranyaksha temper was difficult to control. You know what? He had an anklet of gold and tinkling around his feet, and he was going to all places challenging, hey, is there anyone? He had a huge mace, a club, and with that he went a huge mace and on his shoulder, and he started challenging, is there someone who can defeat me? Huh? And then all the devatas, they know now, oh, they have to be careful now, because of after all, it is the leelas of the Lord and the let us be safe in this game. Why should we get suffered? So they just hid wherever they can, just like just like the serpents hide when a Garuda is coming. So not finding Indra, what he did is then he jumped into, yeah, he's not finding Indra and other demigods who were previously being intoxicated with power. this Hiranyaksha, seeing them that they have all vanquished, he roared very, very loudly. uh, and after returning from heavenly kingdom, he went and inside a deep ocean to have some nice sport. hmm. And there, when he roared, then all the aquatic animals, this roaring was so strong, then mm, all on entering the ocean, the aquatic animals uh, uh, just ran away out of fear. Thus, Hiranyaksha showed his splendor without even beating anything. He's saying, "Hey, I'm so strong." And then he moving about in the ocean for many years. He was doing, and then this Hiranyaksha, he smote the gigantic wind-tossed waves again and again, and with iron mace, and reached to the place called Vibhavari. Vibhavari is the capital of Varuna Dev, which is in this ocean. So Varun is supposed to be predominating deity of waters, and his capital is called Vibhavari. And then uh, after going there, it is the capital. So yeah, there will be the lord of the capital. Who is that? Varunadev. And he started, "Come, let's fight, let's fight." There, Hiranyaksha fell at Varuna's feet, like a low-born man falling at a master, saying, "Please forgive me," or no. Here, Hiranyaksha, because he had so much desire to fight, but there is no one to come and be his contender to fight. So he just started falling on the feet of Varuna and said, "Please." Uh, and to make fun of him, he said, "Give me a battle, O Supreme Lord." He said, "Whole." Uh, so in this challenging spirit, he was asking, he's inviting fight. "You are the guardian of entire sphere and a ruler of the wide fame, having crushed the mighty air." Anyway, he said, and finally, Varuna Dev simply said, "Oh, he is actually sarcastically mocking me." Thus mocked by an enemy whose vanity knew no bounds, the worshipful Lord of waters waxed angry, but by the dint of his reason, he managed to curb his anger, and he replied, saying, "O dear one, we have now desisted from fighting. We don't have that strength because we became very old. We are no more in that prime youth to fight. Or whatever, all those things that are done in the past are only glories, but now we cannot." But, he said one very important, "You know what? You are so skilled in the war that I do not see anyone else but the most ancient person." Who is that? Pasyaminanya. There is no one. Purushad, Puratanad. Very, very old. Yeah. Samyuge Tvam Ranamarga Kovidam. For to compete with you, there is no one else except that Lord Vishnu. Uh, Aradhaityasi Asura Arshabhehi Tam Manasvino Yam Graneti Bhavardisha. This is what he said. "Hey, there is only one person I can think of. There is no one else. Who is that? Lord Vishnu. Therefore, O chief of Asuras, approach him whom even heroes like you mentioned will praise." So there are so many they will praise. And not only that, I am telling you one thing just to make this Hiranyaksha become not scared but excited. He said, "On reaching him, you will be rid of your pride at once. You are thinking you are great. What kind of great? Hey, he is great, and will lie down on the field of battle. He will just uh, kill you, and you lie on battlefield surrounded by dogs and fogs um, for eternal asleep." So, if you want, you go there, and here he reveals. This is what he is telling. He is saying, "It is in order to exterminate wicked fellows like you, and to show his grace to the virtuous, that he assumes his various incarnations like uh, Varaha." Here we see Ichhaya. He takes any desired form. He takes any form for to please his devotees. After all, here Hiranyaksha is also his devotee, right? So in that way, finally, uh, um, the two contenders are coming. Yeah? Who is that? The Lord and the person who has challenged the Lord. They are coming together. This is very nicely described in the last. I mean, we can go two more, but I would say this is the last one. Um, this nice chapter which is telling about um, the battle between the Lord and the demon Hiranyaksha. This is very nice because this is what actually Lord desired, and what Lord desires should be our desire, right? We also should want to aspire such kind of to know. Maitreya Uvacha is saying Tad evam akarnya jalesha bhashitam mana manastad vignaya durmada harer viditva gatim anga नारदाद रसातलम निर्विवेश त्वरान्वितः. He's saying the proud and falsely glorious Daitya paid little heed to the words of Varuna. Oh dear Vidura, he learned from Narada the whereabouts of the Supreme Lord and hurriedly betook himself to the depth of the ocean. So he found, hey, where he went. Narada is, yeah, he is there with the Asuras, he is there with Suras, and so he found where are the whereabouts of Lord. He saw there all the all powerful Lord in his boar form. When he went there, he saw, hey, I thought Lord should be very beautiful. I thought the Lord should have, like a, no, he saw there in a very special form. He saw that he is there. Why? Because when we talked about Shweta Varaha at that time, it was that this um, the earth came into this patal because of imbalance or whatever when he was creating, when Brahma was creating, then something it came. But here what happened is because Hiranyaksha, who is very greedy to earn, to make a lot of money, he was drilling the earth so much, so much, so much that the earth lost its balance. Of course, he didn't care. So what happened? The Lord came down to lift this earth, and he kept on his tusks and robbing him of his splendor with his reddish eyes. He was, here it is, I think the color comes here. No, no, it comes later. The demon laughed. He said, hey, an amphibious beast. Huh? Hey, he's saying, what is this? Mruga. He said, Vana Gochara. Vana Gochara Mruga. Hey, what is this? Uh, and mm, yeah, and in the purport, Prabhupada is mentioning about the Shweta Varaha, in which we discussed yesterday. He says, while Varaha with his tusk engaged in uplifting the submerged earth from the depth of water, this great demon Hiranyaksha met him and challenged him and calling him a beast. Uh, and in this way, finally, what happens is, um, yeah, so the demon started interestingly criticizing him. The demon addressed the Lord as saying, "O best of demigods, dressed in the form of a boar, just hear me. This earth is entrusted to me, to us, the inhabitants of lower regions, and you cannot take it from my presence and not be hurt by me. So if at all you want to take it, then you have to fight me." Again, I would encourage if someone can read, this is a third verse, and also it also indirect glorification, the indirect glorification of uh, what Hiranyaksha is doing. He is thinking he's chastising the Lord, but indirectly he's actually glorifying. Sridhar Swami gives commentary about that. And I will also read the fifth verse, which is uh, Tvai samstite gadaya shrina shirshani asmad bhuja chatuya yena tubhyam balim haranti rishayo ye cha deva swayam sarve na bhavishyanti amula. He's saying, uh, when you fall dead with your skull, this is Hiranyaksha telling to Varaha Swami, saying, when you are when you fall dead with your skull smashed by the mace hurled by my arms, the demigods and sages who offer you oblations and sacrifice in devotional service will also automatically cease to exist, like trees without roots. So here he want to say Vanagochara. This is what is said. Is this verse 5? Yeah. Uh, yeah. Vanagochara, Mruga, Agna, all whatever he has used in all these verses, na, it is Vanagochara means resident of forest or water. This is what he said. But indirectly, Lord Narayan is also called Vanagochara. Why? Because Narayana, who lies on water, right? Where does he lie? So Vanagochara is actually, yes, it is Narayan, right? And Mruga is an animal. Means he is thinking animal. Hiranyaksha is addressing him as animal, as a thinking, hey, you are not even of our level. But animal, why? Because one who is sought after by great sages is a mriga. Yeah, just like a hunter is hunting an animal, he is chasing. There are so many sages who are chasing to attain the mercy of the Lord, but the Lord is not easy to be caught. So he is, yes, Agnya. And then Hiranyaksha is saying, hey, you are Agnya, means fool. But another meaning of Agnya is there is no knowledge which is unknown to. Gya means to know. Agnya means there is nothing that is left for the Lord to know. And then Suradhana is saying lowest of the demigods. But Sur Aradhana is also means that one who is offering worship by the demigods. Uh, Mamekshata, in my presence, he says, which means in spite of my presence, yeah, you are able to take away earth. This is what it means. Anyway, so that's how he was just challenging. He was just interested only in challenging, and finally, he's coming to this point where, although the Lord was pained by, and then he took this mace, yeah, whatever the mace he had, na, he just took it, and then he's saying, although the Lord was pained, uh, although the Lord was pained by the shaft-like abusive words of the demon, he bore the pain. But seeing that the earth on the ends of his tusk was frightened, what did he do? He rose out of the water just as an elephant emerges with its female companion uh, when assailed by an alligator. So, what did Varahadev do is he didn't immediately start fighting. No, he has Mother Earth, his dear consort, and he want to make sure that she doesn't get scared. So he actually went, secured her somewhere, and then started getting into fight. Hmm. So, and that the demon who had golden hair on his head and fearful tusks um, gave chase to the Lord while he was rising from the water, even as an alligator would chase an elephant. Roaring like thunder, he said, are you not ashamed of running away before a challenging adversity? There is nothing reproachable for shameless creatures. He's saying, what kind of shameless? Yeah, we thought you are the Lord, but see, you're running away. Hiranyaksha is saying, the Lord placed the earth within his sight on the surface of the water and transferred her his own energy in the form of ability to float on the water. While the enemy stood looking on, Brahma, creator, extolled the Lord and other. Here we see those. hmm, Let me quickly in the purport. We see that those who are demons cannot understand how the Supreme Lord floated the earth on water. But to devotees of the Lord, this is not a very wonderful act. Not only the earth, but many, many millions of planets are floating in the air, and this floating power is endowed upon him by the Lord. There is no other possible explanation. This is what it's mentioned. The materialist can say it is law of gravity, but that law of gravity, where is it coming? Hmm. Parankushatam, परांकुशक्तम तपनीयोपकल्पम महागदम कंचन कांचन चित्रदंशम. Anyway, the demon now who had a wealth of ornaments, bangles, and beautiful golden armor on his body chased the Lord from behind with a great mace. Lord tolerated his piercing ill words, but in order to reply to him, he expressed his terrible anger. Hmm? So now Bhagavan Vacha. Bhagavan Vacha is saying, Satyam Vayam Bho Vana Gochara Mriga Yasmad Vidhan Mrigaye Grama Simhan Na Mrityu Pashay Pratimuktasya Veera Vikattahanam Tava Grahanti Adharbam Abhadram. He's saying, indeed you are creatures of the jungle. You are searching after hunting dogs. Sorry, we are searching after hunting dogs like you. One who is freed from entanglement of death has no fear from loose talk in which you are indulging, for you are bound up by the laws of death. So the Lord is saying, hey, I don't have to fear because I am anyway unborn, and there is no death for me. It is you who have to worry because you are under the laws of uh, nature. Certainly, we have stolen the charge of the inhabitants of Rasatal and have lost all shame. Although bitten by your powerful mace, I shall stay here in the water for some time because Having created enmity with a powerful enemy, I now have no place to go and say, yeah, the Lord is saying, come, come fight with me. You are supposed to be the commander of many foot soldiers, and now you may take prompt steps to overthrow us. Give up all your foolish talks and wipe out the care of your kith and kin. One may be proud, yet he doesn't deserve a seat in assembly if he fails to fulfill his words promise. Here is saying the demon may be great, but in presence of Lord, he is powerless. This is what he is saying, and he is destined to die. So the Lord therefore challenged the demon not to go away, but to fulfill his promise word to kill him. So he said, "Hey, you have promised to kill me. Come, come and kill me." Uh, so Maitreya is saying, uh, um, Hiranyaksha, being thus challenged by the Lord, became very angry, agitated, and he trembled in anger like a challenged cobra. And it is said, a cobra is fierce before ordinary persons, but before an enchanter who can play with him, he is plaything, right? A cobra can be very dangerous, but doesn't matter. Similarly, a demon may be very powerful in his own domain, but before the Lord, he is insignificant. We can see this, the demon, Ravan was fierce figure before the demigods, but when he was before the Lord Ramchandra, he trembled and prayed to his deity, Lord Shiva. Uh, yeah, one second. One second. Okay. So, in that way, uh, hissing indignantly, all his senses shaken by wrath, the demon quickly sprang up, and the Lord and dealt him with a blow with his powerful mace. And then Lord, however, by moving slightly aside, I mean, this is the one who were seeing, witnessing, were all the sages, the demigods, everyone from the sky. They are seeing what is happening. Hey, finally these two persons have come to fight. So, however, the Lord, however, by moving slightly aside, dodged the violent mace blow aimed at his breast by the enemy, just as an accomplished yogi would elude death. So, in that way, the Lord has just uh, mm, dealt with that blow that came from Hiranyaksha. Punar Gadam Swam Adaya. So, then the personality of God had now exhibited his anger and rushed to meet the demon who bit his lips in rage, took up his mace again, and you know what? Began to repeatedly brandish it again. And he's saying, then with his mace, the Lord struck the enemy on the right of his brow. But since the demon was expert in fighting, oh, Vidura, he protected himself by manner of his own mace. So in that way, this Dvandva Yuddha that was happening, yeah, that was happening between these two was witnessed by all this, and it was kind of very intense and tense situation. Evam gadabhyam gurvibhyam haryash haryaksha haryaksha harir evacha jigisaya sushamradhav anyonyam abhi jagantuha. It is said in this way the demon Hiranyaksha, sorry, Haryaksha, yeah, which is also Hiranyaksha, meaning, and the Lord, the personality, struck each other with their huge maces, each enraged and seeking his own victory. In the purport, Prabhupada is writing, Haryaksha is another name of Hiranyaksha. While this was happening, there were keen rivalry between the two combatants. Both had sustained injuries on their bodies from the blows of each other's pointed maces, and each grew more and more enraged at the smell of blood on his person. In their eagerness to win, they performed maneuvers of various kinds, and their contest looked like an encounter between two forceful bulls for the sake of a cow. Huh? In the purport, Prabhupada mentioned that as India has recently been divided into Pakistan and Hindustan, similarly the earth was formerly called Ilavrata Varsha, but gradually as time passed, it was divided by national boundaries. So here we can see that Hiranyaksha want that earth for him, and the Lord, how can he give his life? Bhudevi is none other than Lord's consort. So oh, descendant of Kuru, oh Vidura, Brahma, the most independent demigod, huh? came to see the terrible fight for the sake of world between the demon and the Lord, who appeared in the form of a boar. Uh, and then, after arriving a place of combat, Brahma, the leader of thousands of sages and transcendentalists, saw the demon who had attained such unprecedented power that no one can fight with him. Brahma then addressed Narayan, uh, uh, who was assuming the form of boar for the first time. For the first time, he said, "You know what? Uh, he said, first time, my dear Lord, this demon has proved to be a constant pin prick to the demigods, the brahmanas, the cows, and innocent persons who are spotless and always dependent upon worshipping your lotus feet. He has become a source of fear by unnecessarily harassing them. Since he has attained a boon from me, he has become a demon, always searching for a proper combatant, wandering all over the universe for this infamous purpose." So, in that way, Brahmadev is saying, Mainam Maya Vinam Driptam Nirankusham Asattamam Akridam Balavad Deva Yatha Shivasam Uttiham Uthitam. He's saying, my dear Lord, there is no need to play with this serpentine demon who is always very skilled in conjuring tricks and in arrogant, self sufficient, and more wicked. Uh, so don't show all this compassion. No one is unhappy, purport Prabhupada, no one is unhappy when a serpent is killed. Right? It is a practice among village boys to catch a serpent by tail and play with it. So anyway, that is so don't play. He is a so wicked person. My dear Lord, you are infallible. Please kill this sinful demon before the demonic hours arrive, and he presents another formidable approach favorable to him. You can kill him by your internal potency without doubt. My Lord, the darkest evening which covers the world is fast approaching. Since you are the soul of all souls, kindly kill him and win victory for the demigods. The auspicious period known as Abhijit, which is now most opportune for victory, commenced at midday and has all but passed. Therefore, in the interest of your friends, please dispose this formidable enemy quickly. This demon, uh, luckily for us, has come of his own accord to you, his death ordained by you. Therefore, exhibiting your ways, kill him in the duel and establish the world in peace. So this is the prayer that Brahma is offering to Varaha Deva. So please don't delay. It's getting evening and the strength of the asuras becomes more strong. And yeah, I know you can subdue this guy, no problem. And after hearing all this from Brahma, uh, which were free from all sinful purposes, and finally, it is said that the Lord who has appeared from the nostril of Brahma sprang and aimed his mace at the chin of his enemy, the Hiranyaksha demon, who was stalking fearlessly before him. Struck by the demon's mace, however, the Lord mace slipped from his hand, and you know what? The demon Hiranyaksha hit his mace, and then the mace from the hand of Varaha slipped from his hand. It fell down and looked, it fell down whirling. It was miraculous, for the mace was blazing wonderfully. Even though the demon had an excellent opportunity to strike his unarmed enemy without obstruction, he respected the law of single combat, thereby kindling the fury of the. So, what he did, when Hiranyaksha was hitting, then the Gada from Lord Varahadev fell down. Then Hiranyaksha is saying, "Hey, please," he just took it and gave it to Varaha. "Hey, come, let's fight again." Huh? As the Lord's mace fell to the ground and a cry of alarm arose from the witnessing crowd of gods and rishis, the Lord acknowledged the demon's love for righteousness and therefore invoked his Sudarshan Chakra. Ah, And then, as the discus began to revolve in the Lord's hand, and the Lord contended at close quarters with the chief of his Vaikuntha attendants, so, who is that? None other than Hiranyaksha. There issued from every direction strange expressions uttered by those who were witnessing from airplanes. They had no knowledge of Lord's reality and they cried, "May victory attain you! Pray! dispatch him, play no more with him. These were the cries that are there. And when the demon saw that Lord, who had eyes just like lotus petals, standing in position before him, armed with Sudarshan chakra, uh, his senses were overpowered with indignance. He began to hiss like serpent, and he bit his lips in great anger. And then the demon he wanted to come and kill. And then Maitra is saying, O Vidura, while his enemy looked on, the Lord in his bow form, enjoyer of all sacrificial offerings, playfully knocked down the mace with his left foot. So now what happened? There is no more weapon. Then the Lord said, take up your weapon and try again, eager as you are to conquer me. So now Lord said, challenged in this way, the demon aimed his mace at the Lord and once more loudly roared. Huh? When the Lord saw the mace flying towards him, he stood firmly where he was and caught it, and with the same ease as Garuda, uh, he just like how the Garuda will grab a serpent, so easily Varahadev has caught the mace that was thrown by Hiranyaksha, and he just kept it aside. Swa Purushe, yeah. And then his valor thus frustrated, this demon felt humiliated and was put out of countenance. He was reluctant to take back the mace. He felt, how can I take it from the Lord? No, he rather, he now took a trident, which was rapacious as flaming fire, and he throwed that trident uh, on the Lord, the enjoyer of all sacrifices, even as one would. you- So anyway, in that way, he tried to attack, and then hurled by the mighty demon with all his strength, the flying trident shone brightly in sky. The Lord tore it to pieces with his Sudarshana disc, which was sharp-edged rim, even as Indra cut off a wing of Garuda. It's like that, so powerful. So then what happened? The demon was becoming more and more angry when his trident was made into pieces. He therefore advanced towards the Lord and roaring aloud, struck his hard fist against the Lord's broad chest, where he bore this Srivatsa black mark of like a, what do you call this? Mole. Yeah. Then he went out of sight, uh, and then hit in this manner by the demon. O Vidura, the Lord, who had appeared as first bore, did not fear at the least, and any more than so he didn't get scared. Demon employed many tricks on the Lord. At the sight of this, people were filled with alarm and thought that dissolution of the universe is near. Oh, what is happening? Bhishan Yuddha that is happening here. So fierce winds began to blow from all directions, spreading darkness occasioned by dust and hailstorms. Stones came in volleys from every corner, as if thrown by machine guns. It was like that. And when all this happened, which were accompanied by lightning and thunder, the sky rained pus, hair, blood, stool, urine, bones, and all these things. Mountains discharged weapons of various kinds. Uh, so all this was happening. The Lord, the personal enjoyer of all sacrifices, now he discharged his beloved Sudarshan, which was capable of dispersing the magical forces displayed by the demon. All whatever he tried, Lord has dispatched everything with one weapon, Sudarshan Chakra. That is the power of Sudarshan Chakra. Uh, at that very moment, a shudder suddenly ran through the heart of Diti, mother of Hiranyaksha. She recalled the words of her husband Kashyapa, and blood flowed from her breast. When the demon saw his magic forces dispelled, he once again came into presence of the Lord, Keshava, and full of rage, tried to embrace him with his arms to crush him. But to his great amazement, he found the Lord standing outside the circle of his arm. Uh, so he tried all his tricks, but Lord also has, he's a trickster of the tricksters. So he could just mm, slip from him. The demon now began to strike the Lord with his hard fists, But Lord Adoksha slapped him in the root of ear, even as Indra, uh, and hit the demon. That one shot was enough to kill. The Lord is explained here as Adokshaja, beyond the reach of all mental calculation. This one shot was enough. Huh? Though struck indifferently by the Lord, the conqueror of all, the demon's body began to wheel. His eyeballs bulged out of their sockets, his arms and legs broken, and the hair on his head scattered. He fell down dead like a gigantic tree uprooted by the wind. Shri Varaha Deva ki jai. His appearance is amazing. His various leelas are amazing. So we can see one may know that by magical feat, one may do so many things. But here the Lord is not uh, illusioned or he is playing illusion, but he has dealt with his enemy. And here it says that Brahma and others arrived on the spot to see the fearfully tusked demon uh, lying on the ground, biting his lip, and the glow of his face was yet unfaded. And Brahma admiringly said, "Oh, who could meet such blessed death?" Hmm? Brahma continued, he said, "He was struck by a forefoot of the Lord." This is not so easy, right? Uh, when Hiranyaksha hit with the mace, at that time Lord stopped it with his leg. So who? Yogis are trying to get the dust off the feet of the Lord, but this guy is so fortunate he got it. Uh, while gazing on his countenance, his chest jewel of Diti's son has cast off his mortal coil. So in that he left while he was remembering the Lord. These two personal assistants of the Supreme Lord, having been cursed, have been destined to take birth in demonic families. After a few such births, they will return to their own positions. This is what it says. And finally, the Devatas are saying, Namo Namaste Akhila Yajna Tantave Stito Grihita Amala Sattva Murtaye Drishtya Hatoyam Jagatam Arundutas Tvat Pada Bhaktya Vayam Isha Nivrita. He's saying, the demigods are saying, all obeisances unto you. You are the enjoyer of all sacrifices, and you have assumed the form of a boar in pure goodness for the purpose of maintaining the world. Fortunately for us, this demons, who was a torment to the worlds, has been slain by you, and we, O Lord, are now at ease in devotion to your lotus feet. And Maitra is concluding, continuing, saying that after thus killing the most formidable demon Hiranyaksha, the Lord hmm, returned to his own abode, where there is always uninterrupted festival. The Lord was praised by all the demigods headed by Brahma. Hmm. So in that way, we can see, I mean, there is whole series of prayers that are said. And finally, after this, it is said, Sri Suta Goswami continued, my dear Brahmana, hmm, Suta Goswami is telling to, and Shatta, the great devotee of Lord, achieved transcendental bliss by hearing the narration of this pastime. It is said that this pastime, what we have heard, is we are so fortunate to hear on this particular day. Why? Because this is not ordinary. Uh, Vidura felt transcendental bliss by hearing all this, how it happened. Hearing about the Lord and his devotees, what to speak of hearing the pastimes of the Lord. People may be transcendental pleasure take even in hearing the works of the deeds of the devotees. Uh, it is mentioned anyesham punya shlokanam uddam yashasam satam upashrutya bhaven modah srivatsankasya kim puna. So fortunate are the one who are hearing the glories of the Lord and his devotees. The Lord delivered, we know, here Sukadev Goswami told to Parikshit Maharaj, which Suta Goswami is telling to all the sages in Naimasharanya, right? So Suta Goswami is telling, the Lord delivered Gajendra, who meditated upon the Lord's lotus feet when attacked by an alligator. What grateful person would not worship the Lord, who can be easily pleased by the spotless devotion? You know what happened? Gajendra in that time he didn't had anything, but he just took a flower, lotus flower from the lake, and then he offered to the Lord, and the Lord is pleased. Tam sukaradhyam yujubhir ananya sharanair nibhi कृताग्निको न सेवते सेवता duraradhya asadubhi. He said, the Lord is all merciful that every living being, especially person in human race, must feel grateful for the benediction offered by the great Lord. So, and what is the falastuti of hearing this? Yesterday I told, in this we have two falastutis. One we read already. The second comes from here. It says, what happens? Yo vai hiranyakshavadam. That who have heard hiranyakshavadam mahadbhutam. It's not ordinary, most wonderful. Vikriditam karana sukaratmanaha. Appearing, the Lord has appeared as Sukara. Sukaratmanaha Sronoti Gayati Anumodate Anjasa Vimuchyate Brahma Vadad Api Dvija. Very, very important. What is this? It is saying that, O Brahmanas, anyone who hears, chants, or takes pleasure in wonderful narration of killing of Hiranyaksha demon by the Lord, who appeared as the firstborn in order to deliver the world, is at once relieved of the results of sinful activities, even the killing of Brahman. हाँ, even killing of Brahma. Etan maha etan maha punyam alam pavitram dhanyam yashasyam padam ayur ashisam. हाँ, प्राणेन्द्रिया प्राणेन्द्रियाणाम युधि शौर्य वर्धनम नारायणोन्नते gatir anga shrinvatam. It is said, this most sacred narrative confers extraordinary merits, wealth, fame, longevity, and all the objects of one's desire. On the field of battle, it promotes the strength of one's vital organs and organs of action. One who listens it at the last moment of his life is transferred to the spiritual abode of the Lord, O Shaunaka. Yeah, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity, very patiently hearing yesterday and today, this narration of Varaha, how he has appeared. Yeah, if you want to hear Falastuti, yeah, we can hear again and again. It's always nice. Everyone ready? Huh? यो वै हिरण्याक्षवदं महाद्भुतं विकीर्तितं कारणसूकरात्मनः शृणोति गायति अनुमोदते अंजसा विमुच्यते ब्रह्मवदाम् अपि द्विजा. O Brahmanas, anyone who hears, chants, or takes pleasure in the wonderful narration of the killing of Hiranyaksha demon by the Lord, who appeared as the firstborn in order to deliver the world, is at once relieved of the results of sinful activities, even by killing of a Brahmana. What is the next? Etan maha punyam alam pavitram dhanyam yashasyam padam ayur ashisham pranendriyanam yudhi shaurya vardhanam narayanonante gatir anga shrinvatam. This most sacred narrative confers extraordinary merits, wealth, fame, longevity, and all the objects of one's desire. On the field of battle, it promotes the strength of one's vital organs and organs of action. One who listens to it at the last moment of his life is transferred to the supreme abode of the Lord. Oh dear Shaunaka. Purport. Devotees are generally attracted by the narratives of the Lord, even though they do not prosecute austerities or meditation. This very process of hearing attentively about the pastimes of the Lord will endow them with innumerable benefits. Of course, wealth, fame, longevity, and other desirable aims of life are also offered. If one continues to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, which is full of narratives of the pastimes of the Lord, at the end of this life, one is sure to be transferred to the eternal transcendental abode of Lord. Thus, hearers are benefited both ultimately and for as long as they are in the material world. That is the supreme, sublime result of engaging in devotional service. Just performing, I'll also conclude with saying this. There are five recommended practices. In that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also recommended five items of devotional service, namely to serve devotees, to chant the names of the Lord, to worship the deity of the Lord, to live in pilgrimages. Did I miss one more? To chant, mm, to serve the devotees of the Lord, to chant Hare Krishna, to hear to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah. So hearing Srimad Bhagavatam has an immense influence so that we can get out of all the barriers and challenges we may have, and thus we be blessed. Yeah. Thank you very much. So I stop here, but definitely would love to continue with you all every day as part of our Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Yeah, what we are doing is we are reading chapter by chapter of this Bhagavatam. Tomorrow we will start with second canto, Dvitiya Skanda, uh, and chapter 1. So if anyone is interested, you can get the link, you can get the contacts uh, from anyone who you know here. Otherwise, you can reach me. Yeah. Okay. If anyone wants contact, you can message us in the chat. What else? Yeah. So please, I have just went through very briefly. You may think I have given a lot of time, but this is still a very brief. I have just spoken 1% of the whole nectar that is available in this wonderful pastime. So yeah, feel free to read and remember today is Varaha Dvadashi, appearance of Lord Varahadev. It is said that one should fast yesterday and should feast today. Yeah, that is the mercy of the Lord, but we actually already feasted yesterday. Nevertheless, we can once again feast. We can have a feast, but remembering that we should serve Brahmanas first. Yeah, this is what we can see. Even by honoring service to the Brahmanas, and then ourselves honoring Prasadam and be blessed. Yeah. I had something also in my mind. I'm not able to recollect, but yeah, I think it's already long. Any quick reflections, feedback of these 2 days Bhagavat Katha? Anyone want to share anything? Because it's also nice what it when we are reflecting and when we are bringing in words, that is what we are telling to our mind. Yes, I really appreciate it. Rather, if we don't speak, then what happens is it will also have a low voice in our heart, in our mind, so we may not make the best of it. Rather, if we share appreciation of it, the glory is not about me, but what this pastime has made you, that is always nice for one own self, and also people who hear, they also can gather more value. Mm, yeah, is there anyone who would like to share? Feel free.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for the wonderful, 2 days lecture, Prabhuji. To me, generally, this nuances of Varahadev, I didn't know, Prabhuji, before this session,
Mhm.
because this avatar is something that, at least it
Mhm. If you
understanding.
read if we read the Bhagavatam as what verses we have went through, we may
Yes.
also not be having such a clarity because it appears okay. In one description, it is actually seen this as in Sri Vaishnavism, we see that it is same one incarnation. Yeah, they do not see this as two. Um, but it is that we see from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur commentaries because they can, yeah, they are very close to the Lord, the devotees, they have this. So where we see he is mentioning this Chakshusha Manu and also this Swayambhuva Manu and the forms of the Lord is that and this. But in fact, we if we see only at translations, we may also think, huh, it is the same Lord. Maybe it is said that Vidura is asking. We can also understand this way that Vidura is asking, all fine, earth was in trouble, Lord Varaha came, he took the earth up. At that time, there was a Rakshasa who has challenged. Tell me about who is that? Yeah, so it can also be understood that everything is in within one Leela. Yeah, this is what Vidura is asking. But then, I mean, Brahma is also explaining about that. But it is through the description of the acharyas we can understand that these are two different things. One happened during the devastation of this pralaya. What happened was pralaya jala, and because of that, when water uh, inundation was happening at that time, the earth came down and that time this was lifted. Other one was when Brahma himself created, at that time earth lost it and the earth was there, and so this is clarified there.
Yes, Prabhuji. This was a big revelation to me, Prabhuji, because in
Mhm.
the, as rightly said in Sri Vaishnava, it is like, also Narakasur was born because the
Yes.
Lord Varahadev killed, Hiranyaksha with his boar, and
Mm.
that blood, using that,
Yes.
he kind of lifted the goddess. That's sorry, the Mother Earth. That's why she got
Yeah,
considered.
the blood drops that came is considered as Bhaumasura. Yeah, but
Exactly.
that is described when we are talking about Satyabhama in the 10th canto. That is explained further.
Oh, yes, Prabhuji. So this I think was very nice for me. And also today what you mentioned is like, the way the Lord apologizes to the, four Sanat Kumaras to save, his devotees. I think that was, very nicely, explained, Prabhuji. So these two are key takeaways from. Yes, thank you,
Yeah,
Prabhuji.
yeah, yeah. Yes. Yeah, nice.
Prabhuji,
Others?
Prabhuji, one small question. The fight happened between the Varahadev and the Hiranyaksha. Where actually it happened, Prabhuji? Because he placed the art, then he started fighting. So that means
Yeah.
not in the art.
Yeah. It happened in this middle, yeah, when we talk about this, what I said that, Hiranya Garbha, yeah, this whole universe. It has not happened on earth. It happened in the universe space where after the Lord has taken out the planet Earth from the Garbhodaka ocean, yeah. So which
Mm.
means this is not happening within the earth, but it happened, yeah, outside the earth, yeah. And then um, this is what has happened, and at that time the inhabitants, yeah, for example, we may ask what happened to all this. So it is that Hiranya, I think we come in the seventh canto that Hiranyakashipu has won over all the three worlds, and then he has made his home as a residence in heaven. You remember?
Mm.
So they were living in the heaven, and whatever in the lower planets, na, this is what has happened. So the war, the battle happened not within what we are saying as a land or earth, but it has happened outside the limits of the earth planet.
But in the fight, na Prabhuji, it mentioned that they are falling, when they are hitting, they are falling on the ground or something.
Yeah, yeah.
So so it feels like okay, it's also maybe some planet or somewhere. So is there any specification Prabhuji there that okay it happened in that local or something like that?
As such, I didn't come across whether a particular Dvipa or a Loka was mentioned, but yeah, maybe we can look up if there is somewhere some info. Yeah, maybe I didn't come across something. Hmm?
Mm.
Yeah, I can't. I think maybe there is one class given by um, who is this Rupa? Who is that? Amarendra. Oh yeah, yeah, Amarendra Prabhu. I think he has given. Amarendra Prabhu has in the US he has given a class in his early days of yeah, moving to US. At the
Mm.
time he has drawn, I think it happened in Atlanta. So he draw on a whiteboard this whole diagram and then he explained, and then I don't know whether he mentioned that, but at least he told that people always have this question, if earth was there, but where did the Lord do this? He
Mm.
I think he mentioned precisely, or at least he touched a brief on that. Maybe you can look that up in YouTube. It's still there.
Mm. Okay.
Hmm.
Another thing, Pooji, I mean, definitely it's not in the earth. So it is definitely either in the lower planet or the upper planet. So when it, I mean, because when I read Pooji, upper planet is almost like a Swargalok only. I mean,
Hmm.
uh, beyond also, beyond, I mean, Earth also, there are actually lower planet, but that lower planet is not like a Naraka. Their lower planet is also like in some sense superior to the Earth also, suppose like Suta
Mhm.
or where the Boli Maharaj is living. No, I'm asking this question is if they are fighting in the zone or something. So that means because why I'm asking this one, because the demigods were actually asking Vishnu that okay, now night is coming, so that
Mm.
evil power will go more stronger. So I'm just a little bit curious there. I mean, the sense it is growing. It is more of a like I'm feeling that it is actually the circumstance is actually almost like a earthly circumstance
Yeah,
because why
you're right.
night
Because
is
the
very
sun is not so much in the lower planets.
so in that case, Prabhuji, maybe the law or rules is not the
But then
same.
in the middle planet we have three planets now, Bhu, Bhuvar.
Hmm?
And when we're talking about this, there are three planets. I mean, when you are telling, I'm thinking maybe it could be that we are talking about Bhu, right? But maybe this would have happened in Bhuvar, a planet above. I don't know. I'm just guessing now.
Okay. So not in this context, Prabhuji. I'm just asking another context. Suppose like in our this earthly planet, we normally feel that after the sunset, normally that tamasic or the evil actually energy actually goes or
Hmm.
go more strong. Okay, is it also happen in the upper plane too?
Yeah,
Because they are more something now
yeah, more
environment.
sattvic, but the influence is less. Because the influence of sun is still on all the 14 planets, right?
Hmm.
The influence of, and not only the influence of sun, the influence of gunas is also in the on all the 14 planets. But as it goes more and more above the, because of the gross elements are not, as you go more up and up, the gross elements are not not dominate. So rather, I would say, as you go lower and lower, the gross element, gross bodies are becoming more. One is made up of gross elements.
Hmm.
Yeah. As we go up, one is made up of subtle elements. Because of subtleness, the influence of the nature will be less, or according to the nature of what we are wearing. Just like if I'm wearing woolen cloth, then I'll have the influence of woolen, right?
Hmm.
So the influence will be there because still everything is in material universe.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah. And of course, otherwise, why the devatas are also feeling the heat?
Hmm.
Yeah. When we talk about Hiranyakashipu, when he's in seventh canto, when Hiranyakashipu is doing tapasya, the whole, yeah, place is becoming heat because everything became one. I mean, there is also some technical dhyana yoga principle that's mentioned that he indeed can do that when one becomes so expert in trance.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the influence is there. Yeah.
Also, one more thing, because so many times we actually read that okay, they conquered the whole planet. So, but at the same time, you also see that Brahma still was there. I mean, in the Shuktaluka, I mean, when he was ruling, other suppose like when we say na, that Ravan also conquered all this, but at the time you also see that so many other kings was also here in the earth. So, if that means that they accept it, they accept the that king as the like a superior king. So, it
Yeah, yeah.
actually.
If your question was even when Lord Ram was ruling, are there no other kings? Yeah, they are, being a Kshatriya means he should rule definitely. But because Lord Ram is there, it's not that he was dominating, but he was allowing that they rule as long as they are following dharma.
Okay, so that means they accept it. Okay, he's
Yes,
more
they accept
Kshatriya
him
like
as a ruler, and they make sure that they follow dharma. If not, then they also take over that.
okay.
Yeah.
Vishnu.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Yeah. Others, I see Kritika Mataji. How? Others, what do you say?
Roji, I have one question.
Mm-hmm.
It's regarding the appearance of Lord Varahadev. Like, is it there a description whether the Lord Varahadev appear as a like half human, half bow, or it's like completely bow? Because sometimes we see a picture where it is like Narsimdev, half human body and the face of bow.
Yeah. At least the description, I mean, in the 15th chapter, there is a description of how is the Lord looking, what are his features. Yeah, but sometimes we are limited. We are limited to put it on a pictorial form, to have that form. So one may just mix up. I mean, yeah, this question was also asked elsewhere. They say, ah, no, we are not even talking about boar. We are talking about divine boar. Yeah.
Yes.
So people may paint it as a boar because we know what is a boar. That's why, and when we say divine boar means something looking like that, but he should look also God, na? And God
Yes.
has legs, God has hands, and all. That's why we kind of, yeah, fail to appreciate the inconceivable form of Varahadev. That's where, as I said, now when we are talking about these tusks are like
Mhm.
the spoons of the yajna, how can we draw it?
Yes.
Hmm.
And also Prabhuji, like it is like yesterday you mentioned he appears in Shvetavara and Neelavara.
Mhm.
So is it the blue one or the red one?
There is also people say Raktavaraha. Yeah,
Okay.
there is also Raktavaraha, Shvetavaraha. Yeah, and Neelavara. Here the description is mentioned that he looked darkish in complexion, darkish
Okay.
green complexion. Hmm. Yeah. Also, I mean, yeah, I think you're asking this because mainly the paintings might look this red, right? Red boar.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. So that's they say Raktavaraha also.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Jai. Hare Krishna.
Uh, Yesterday you said that the Shvetvara came out of the nostrils of Brahmadev.
Mhm.
So was it intentional or it was just by chance?
I mean, are you asking, is there a reason behind it?
Yes, Prabhuji, yes,
Yeah,
actually.
there is a reason behind it because it is said that Lord breathes Vedas. And that's why when the Lord, I mean, when Brahma is breathing, right? So, yeah, through, of course, his nostrils. So when he came out, yeah, it is nothing other than the Vedas. And this Veda form is Varaha's form. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why we call Yajna Varaha. Yajna Varaha. Why? Because yeah, yajnas are towards serving the Lord, in the Vedic way, and that's why Yajna Varaha, and that the whole yajna process, whatever we are thinking in terms of all these things, is actually has a form. It's not different from the Lord, and that's what is Yajna Varaha. He came from the nostril because uh, it is said uh, who is that? Is Dhruv there? We say. I think Keshav Maharaj says, no, wisdom that breathes. I don't know. What is that? There is his tattva.com. He has this that wisdom that breathes. So actually, we are not talking about static knowledge. We are talking about the Vedic knowledge, which is ever alive, and that personification is the Varahadev. This is what I know. Hmm?
Okay, so this, let's say this roop of the Shvetvara, shall this be considered as part of the Dasavataram or
Yes.
the?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
In fact, when there is this description in the second canto, seventh chapter, where all the order incarnations are mentioned, Varahadev incarnation I think is mentioned third, but actually it happened first. So that's why we also say that Bhagavatam we shouldn't see as it is like a chronology, because yeah, just now we are talking, right? It might be that I might say something now and something later, and it need not be as I'm presenting a historical fact.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thanks for joining. Yeah, we finally made it. Any other speakers?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
I just wanted to quickly say what I took away from the 2 days, and I really liked again that Diti was lamenting and
Mm-hmm.
repenting, and then also being deliberate. These were the three things that you were mentioning yesterday. So I think this is something nice that we can, basically use it for our life too. To whenever we make sins or when we make mistakes, to use that procedure and pray that we can purify ourselves and today. I really like that Satish Prabhuji also already mentioned that point, but yeah, when the Lord was actually taking the point to himself, that saying, okay, actually it is my fault that this happened, and I really like that it was such a devotional aspect that I really find touching. And yes, and also it was really nice to see that this this mood of anger, that that the fighting spirit that the Lord had, that he wanted to display it in this way, and I did not see it beforehand. That's why I really liked listening to the lila and the katha. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank
Here we
you.
see that Lord has multiple reasons. Yeah, we could cover in one Leela. We may think, hey, it is yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. So we may think, oh, to establish. No, here he sees that because Jaya Vijaya have stopped Lakshmi Devi. This is one reason. We can see that no, it is the desire of Diti Atiti, sorry, Diti to have children. It is reason. No, there is also the Lord ordained it to happen because he also had his desire, which means the Lord is very personal. Lord is so personal that he, yeah, um, uh, desire to fight. Huh? Yeah. And there is this desire of the Kumaras to curse, to correct. So we can see so many things coming for one very nice Leela. And that's why it is said that when we have this Palastuti are all telling about that. When we hear, we may have 100 questions more now. Definitely there might be 100 questions. But we can understand that still how the Lord is always in favor of the devotees. For that matter, he can do anything like Gajendra Moksha is one thing, but here we can see Jaya Vijaya. He himself is coming to make sure that the curse can be adjusted so that the Jaya Vijaya are not going to go to the lower planets down and down forever and ever. Yeah. So we can see how the Lord's mercy. There may be so many viewpoints can come and say, no, 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 Lord is not merciful because of all these reasons. Because all the atheistic people, yeah, godlessly people will do that. But godly people's godliness increases just by hearing all these kathas. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, nice. Okay. Anyone else? We'll take 2 minutes more. Anyone? Oh, our Leela Mataji is a Varsana Leela Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
We are not hearing. We are
Thank
not
you.
hearing you much. Hmm.
What Prabhuji?
We are not hearing you much. Yeah. So
Yeah. I was listening much Prabhuji. That is why.
yeah.
Yeah, Prabhuji, thank you first of all for covering so many chapters of Bhagavatam. If we would have been on our own, so it would have never been possible.
No,
To
actually,
uh,
intention is that all read. I have just tried to kind of. I was myself not sure what to prioritize, not to prioritize. So you will not have that challenge, yeah, if you are reading, because you
mm,
get everything complete.
yeah, and actually, the same point was Satish Prabhu Parminder Mataji told, and then right now when you were explaining, it really connected me also so much that we all know that God is supplying everything each moment to our life, but behind also so intricately things are happening and have happened that are resulting the mercy and the beauty what is being given to bestowed upon us by Lord. So that was really again one instant where I felt oh, again in honor of him that how nicely he's doing. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was so
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, Lord is amazing, and we are blessed because Lord has given Bhagavatam. Otherwise, all these leelas are qualified for whom? All these leelas were witnessed by those great rishis, great demigods, the Brahma and all. Na? If there is no account of Bhagavatam available, we wouldn't know the greatness of the Lord, right?
True, Prabhuji. Yes.
We would just know that, okay, I'm just busy with my own things. And no, the Lord made Himself available in the form of Bhagavatam. What best gift we can have in our life. Hmm.
True, Prabhuji. That is why how many time we can, how long in a day also if we are with Bhagavatam, it is so pleasing.
Yeah.
Repeatedly, it is pleasing. So, yeah, Prabhuji. And again, while fighting, also that incident between Varahadev and Hiranyaksh, that when his uh, weapon was off,
Well,
they both had that dignity, both ways. That how
no,
they could
actually,
follow it. So,
it is not dignity. There was actually teasing. Yeah? So it was that Hiranyaksha wanted to tease the Lord. Hey, hey, take it. Huh? I can wait for you. Just making the other person inferior. And then tit for tat, when this happened for Hiranyaksha, then Lord, yeah, you take, I'm waiting. Now
yeah,
this is,
Prabhu,
this is,
that makes it so interesting.
yeah,
It never makes, the
yeah.
scenario
It's
never goes
not, yeah,
boring.
it's not a violence action. There is also a lot of, I mean, this, though it's a small moment of humor, but it is so nice to see, appreciate the beauty of the Leela.
Yes, yes, Prabhu. These moments bring us all shades of emotions from us also. Oh, now this is happening. It's not even monotonous. That
Yeah.
it's Bhagavatam is not always so preachy. That is just giving us.
That's why I always say Bhagavatam, na, irrespective of age, even a kid who is 4 years, 5 years can relish because he'll start to know, oh, Dhruv Maharaj, he'll start to know Prahlad. Bhagavatam is not so difficult to attract kids. Yeah, actually, I mean, we are getting the taste. Why not the kids will? Kids will get even more taste because it's all wonderful stories. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji. Again, thanks a lot, Prabhuji, for so many chapters of Bhagavatam in nutshell.
No, no, I have to thank you all, yeah, that you stayed the last minute. I don't know how many joined, how many left. But yeah, but I'm happy that yeah, you are there. So that means yeah, I can I can continue. I would have actually spent few more hours, but I was always worried. It might be too much. Mm.
Mm. Actually, both Varadev and Bhagavatam deserves many hours, but yes, we
Yes.
have our own time constraint. Yes.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Again.
Thank you very much. Okay. Shall we close the day? Yeah. Seems okay. So in 5 minutes, I think we will be done with the fasting. If I'm not wrong, I don't know. Anyway, Rupa post that, and it's not like Narsimha Chaturdasi. We know when to break the fast. It is not like Janmashtami, because we know that Lord appeared in the midnight. We know that Lord has appeared in the Sandhya time as Narsingadev. Yeah, uh, yeah. I don't know. Maybe interesting to know, but yeah. Anyway, I have fast. That's why we have fasted yesterday. Today we can feast maybe from 12. If I'm not wrong, I don't know. Apu Prabhu, is it allowed?
No, it's all.
Prabhuji,
Yeah.
I read actually, I read in some comments, Prabhuji, that normally the fasting happens in the Ekadashi day. Next day just Paruna. But
Okay.
if someone wants to do some austerities, it's personal for him.
Okay.
But
Which means
I read in one conversation with the Srila Prabhupada and Tamal Vishnamara and Jagata Kumara, where the conversation happened in that way that, okay, Prabhupada mentioned that fasting on the Ekadashi day and then next day feasting.
next day feast. Yeah, see, all merciful. So let's feast prasadam. Then thank you very much. Vanchakalpatarabhyascha kripa sindhubhya vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Varaha Deva ki jai. Varaha Devadasi ki jai. Hare Krishna. Jai.